Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning in for the final phase of Spotlight 2021. We'll spend the next hours together, but before we dive into that, let's all hear out a foreword from How2Web's founder, Bogdan.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Since 2011, Spotlight has been helping Eastern European early-stage startups to connect with experts, with operators and investors. While traditionally we were running the program during the How2Web conference, we now had to move it online and adapt it, only to enlarge it, make it bigger and better. But one thing has stayed the same. Spotlight is the same place for smart, ambitious professionals and founders. So a big thanks to the founders who have joined us, along with our partners and mentors, which had their own accomplishments to celebrate, by the way. We should say a big congrats to Hristo Borisov from Payhawk, who announced yesterday a 115 million Series B round, while Nicolas has now become a full-time Y Combinator group partner. So these were two of our mentors, but we also have to thank the others like Luciana, Alexandru from Sequoia, Andrei Brașoveanu from Excel, and many, many more. Thanks for your time. So congrats to them, and best of luck to today's finalists. I'm going to leave you now with Alex for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Bogdan, and we'll meet again in a few hours. But before we dive into what's going to happen next, let me tell you a bit about Spotlight 2021. So we'll do together a quick recap. 2 months ago, we welcomed the most promising 42 early-stage tech startups from Eastern Europe in How2Web's Spotlight. After more than 1,500 hours of group Q&As with people in the likes of the ones that Bogdan mentioned, and other one-on-one meetings during the program, and another round of evaluations, 10 of them were selected for the competition phase, running for the investment deal worth of 350,000 euro. And we're all here to find out who they are and who grabs the investment deal that's on the table in this evening. But it ain't gonna be easy though. Before we dive into that, let me mention you and thank to the program partners of Spotlights this year. Spotlight 2021 was realized in partnership with Google for Startups, KPMG, MasterCard, BRD Group Société Générale, and with the support of eMAG, Verifone, Fitbit, Orange, Bearing Point, Microsoft, NN, Credo Ventures, and we have alongside the investment partners that put the money for the investment deal, namely Tech Angels, SeedBlink, Growchanu, Gapminder, RockX, Simple Capital, and Transylvania Angels Network. Here with us for the pitch session, we have some of them as jurors in this pitch session slot that you're about to watch. So the program partners representatives, on behalf of Google for Startups, we have Dan Oros, Head of Marketing at Google and YouTube Romania.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Dan. Yeah, you can smile and wave for the audience. Thank them for tuning in. And now we move on to tell you that on behalf of KPMG, we are joined by René Schob, partner, head of tax and legal at KPMG Romania. Hi again, René. Thanks for joining. You can wave to the audience. And
hi, everybody.
Wait to hear out more from you during the Q&A slots. Then on behalf of MasterCard, we have Laura Ștefan, Director, Commercial and Non-Traditional Business Development. Hi again, Laura. Thanks for joining. We cannot wait to find out more from your side in the Q&A slots. And from BRD Group Société Générale, we have Horia Velicu, Head of Innovation Lab as well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, and we see you in a brief. Now, moving on to Bogdan Axinia from eMAG, Managing Director of eMAG Ventures, part of eMAG Group. Hi, Bogdan. Wave for the audience. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Can't wait to hear out more from your side during the Q&A slots. Then, on behalf of To Checkout, now Verifone, we have Alexandra Marcu joined, VP Marketing, EMEA. Hi, Alexandra. Thanks for joining. You can also do a big wave for the audience that we have here tonight. Thanks for joining. See you in a bit. Then, on behalf of Fitbit, we're joined by Lavinia Neagoe, Senior Engineering Manager and Bucharest Technology Site Lead. Great to see you again, Lavinia. You can do a big wave for the audience, and we'll see you in a bit. Then,
great to see you.
Thanks, Lavinia. Then we move on to NN, and on behalf of NN, we have Andreea Piperna, CEO of NN Romania Private Pensions Fund. Great to see you again, Andreea. Thanks for joining.
Hello, everybody.
And see you in
nice
a bit
to see you.
during the pitch session. Thank you, and thanks for the support so far. Then, on behalf of Bearing Point, we're joined by Gabriel Diaconescu, Senior Manager at Bearing Point Romania. Hi, Gabriel. Great to see you again.
Hey.
Thanks for joining. See you in a bit during the pitch sessions that are about to follow. Now, moving on to Orange, and on behalf of Orange, we are joined by Monica Obogeanu, Startup Programs Manager at Orange Romania. Great to see you again, Monica. Thanks for joining. You can strike a big wave for the audience, and we'll see you in a bit
everyone.
during the pitch session. Hi, Monica. And on behalf of Credo Ventures, we have Andrei Bartosz, General Partner. Thanks for joining, Andrei. Thanks for your support so far. See you in a bit, and also just to do quite a spoiler for this evening, you'll also be one of the guests in our panel. So thanks for all the support so far. Yeah, we're not going to disclose the other ones. Thanks. Now we move on to thank and name the representatives coming from the investment partners side. And we are joined on behalf of Tech Angels Romania by Malin Ștefănescu, President of Tech Angels Romania. Great to see you again, Malin. Thanks for striking a wave for the audience. See you in a bit in the Q&A slots. Then on behalf of Simple Capital, we have Andrei Pitiș, Founder and CEO. Thanks for joining. Thanks for striking a wave for the audience. See you in a bit. On behalf of now Transylvania Angels Network, we are joined by Mircea Vădan, also Managing Partner at Activize and Founding Board Member at Transylvania Angels Network. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the support so far. Moving on to Growchanu, and on behalf of Growchanu, we are joined by Adrian Erimescu, co-founder and investor within Growchanu, the Business Angel Group. Thanks, Adi, for joining. See you in a bit. Moving on to saying hi to Alexandru Bogdan from RocaX, CEO of RocaX. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the support so far. Thanks for striking a wave to the audience, and see you in a bit in the pitch session. Then moving on to SeedBlink, and on behalf of SeedBlink, we are joined by Andrei Dudoiu, co-founder and CEO. You can strike a wave for the audience as well. Andrei, thanks for joining. We'll hear out more from all that you've just heard, and from others as well, because we are joined also by Dan Mihaescu from Gapminder, founding partner at Gapminder. Thanks for joining, Dan, and thanks for the support so far. We see you, and we'll catch up soon during the pitch session. So as we get closer to Spotlight Beach Day, I mean the core of it, let me introduce you something that all of you can benefit from, either if you're watching this from Crowdcast, which is the place where the full experience happens. So if you're watching this outside of the Crowdcast, maybe on a Facebook Live, maybe on a LinkedIn, on a YouTube Live, just make sure you tap into that link and join Crowdcast, because this is where the full experience happens. This is where you can engage with the founders and with the rest of the Spotlight community that joined the event. You can also have business access to all the data of the startups. Just hit us an email at team@howtoweb.co, and we'll deal with that as well. All the decks, all the pitches, not just the ones in this final, but for all the other 32 startups out of the 42 that got into Spotlight. So Crowdcast is the place where you will benefit out of the full experience. You can chat with all the other participants. Make sure you join that wherever you're seeing it in a live. That's on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Now, as for the pitch session, let me tell you a couple of rules. Not many, but hard ones. Rule number 1 is that each startup has 10 minutes. The first 5 minutes will be used for the pitch, and another 5 minutes for the Q&A with the jurors. We'll have also rule number 2, and that's the fact that we don't break rule number 1. So every 10 minutes, you'll hear out another pitch, another Q&A slot. All this being said, let's deep dive in Spotlight Pitch Day. and reveal you the Spotlight Pitch Day startups. So the 10 startups out of the 42 that joined Spotlight that got into this final phase. And they are New Credits, iSpeak, RepsMate, Corsi, Convi, Brio, Alpha AR, Vatistech, Streams Live, and Coldwell AI. So let me remind you again, and let's say a big kudos to all New Credits, iSpeak, RepsMate, Corsi, Convi, Brio, Alpha AR, Vatistech, Streams Live, and Coldwell AI. And also big kudos for all the ones that joined Spotlight. It was a great deal of value that everyone got out of the program side of Spotlight. Now we move our attention to the competition side of Spotlight. So for the first batch, we will welcome back a part of the company representatives and the investor representative to form the first batch of jurors. And we welcome back Dan Oros from Google, Bogdan Axinia from EMAG, Alexandra Marcu from Verifone, alongside with Malin Ștefănescu from Tech Angels, Andrei Pitiș from Simple Capital, and Mircea Vădan from TAN. It's great to see you again, because we'll deep dive into the first startup to hold their pitch and have their Q&A with you as jurors, and that is New Credits. And we'll find out more about New Credits from Kenneth Ma. Thanks for joining, and see you again in 5 minutes for the Q&A.
Come on.
Hi everyone, my name is Kenneth. I'm the CEO and founder of New Credits. We are a trade finance marketplace connect SMEs with global lenders. Over 80% of the global trade depends on trade finance. However, SMEs are not included by the traditional banking sources. That has created over $5.7 trillion global trade finance gap. And that's the data captured by the Standard Chartered and the UN. Let's take a look at the example here. Let's say there's a European manufacturer making candies in Europe, and they receive a large order from Japanese buyers. And that would take about 120 days to prepare for the production, packaging, and shipment and payment. During this time, the EU SME would just go to the local banks in Europe to just apply for the working capital finance in order to pay for the logistics, materials, and the staff. However, most of the time they just got rejected because the banks don't take that as a safe case because they are SMEs. And also they just don't have enough collateral that the banks would just accept it. But we can't blame the banks because, there are a lot of SMEs that are scamming the lenders and the banks in this market by providing fake documents. Since 2016, there was already $2 billion got written off by the tier 1 banks. And there is a company called Greensill Capital in London collapsed earlier this year. They invested by SoftBank, but they actually created half of the transactions in the portfolio are completely fraudulent. And second problem is that the lenders usually don't have enough insights to assess case from the SMEs, and they usually just have tip of the iceberg in terms of data to be assessed for deal-by-deal cases. We call it digital island in our sector, that the banks don't have enough data to link to their core banking system for underwriting. And the third problem is that when there is a case defaulted, especially from related to foreign buyers, it would take about 6 months to get the debts collected, or probably just don't get anything back. And the last problem is that the currently traditional banks don't take crypto as collaterals at all. But we do. And as a company, we provide a trusted deal flow management platform for lenders to unlock the SMEs trade finance markets globally. We already work with over 20 lenders across the world, and we plan to offer our crypto lending facilities as a proprietary lenders by working with over 500 plus crypto exchanges across the world by Q1 2022. And we also provide a solution to help the lenders to verify the document and transaction submitted by the SMEs built on Auth Recorder on the blockchain infrastructure. And also provide the integrated credit risk data analytics solution to help lenders to make accurate assessments on the cases that we created for them. That includes credit reference, payment, open banking, SNS, e-commerce, logistics, FX, and so forth. Also, we provide a a solution for the lenders to tokenize their non-performing assets. We already have about $5 million non-performing assets on our book right now, and we're planning to tokenize it by Q1 2022 in order to work with the capital market investors for this non-performing assets transferable solution. We also have, we actually monetize our business in two ways. The first one is interest premium. So we take the interest premium between the lenders and the borrowers as a run of our revenue fees. And secondly, we also offer the SaaS product fees to the lenders so that the lenders will, can use our infrastructure to make underwriting transactions. The market is huge. It's about $5.7 trillion across the world, and the majority of the market share is actually dominated by European, American, and the Asian businesses. We are the only one platform here to eliminate fraud risk, provided accurate risk assessment, and provide crypto lending facilities to the SMEs as a market for the lenders as well across 4 regions. We already generated $110,000 in October this year, with an 82% monthly growth as a business. And we work with the world-class partners in order to create a marketplace for the SMEs and the lenders. We already raised $2 million, partly equity and partly grants from Qatar Development Bank, Digital Garage Japan, and Hong Kong Science Park. And we recently got selected by the UK Tech Nation FinTech program as one of the cohort. We also run our payment institutions in Lithuania and Hong Kong, and we are planning to get regulated with the FCA and CSSF in the UK and Luxembourg as a crypto asset business. We're looking for a lead investor to invest into us for $1 million so that the other co-investors can join the next round to digitize the whole SME trade services marketplace, including payment, trade credit insurance, advertisement, debt management, inspection services, and logistics. We have a team of 30 people right now, and we're planning to expand the team to 80 people by Q2 next year. And we want to become a platform to offer business finance without borders as our vision. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Shoot any questions you have to Kenneth, enjoying the conversation on the side. So please just simply turn on your mics and ask a question to Kenneth to clarify, either give feedback. Whoever wants to just jump first and shoot your question.
Hi, Andre here from Sipa Capital. So how, 2 questions. One, what blockchain infrastructure do you use? And the other one is, how do you ensure that the documents are accurate? I mean, how is that working? I mean, I know that this is one of the, a lot of people talk about it, but blockchain in general doesn't really allow for storing documents in the blockchain. So what is the underlying blockchain infrastructure that would allow you to,
Yeah, thanks, Andre.
Yes, to answer your first question is that we use 2 protocols. The first one is R3 and R3 actually does allow you to store data, the documents. That's why all the banks are using R3 right now for trade finance cases. So this is, R3. So it's a US company, and it's founded by a guy used to lead ICAP, which is the leading, shipment brokerage company in the UK. So they are actually global, and that guy is already pretty big right now, the company, R3. So they actually invest into us. They give credits to us to build the whole infrastructure on R3. And the second protocol for the crypto, we use Hyperledger Bazoo. Just because Hyperledger is private, we don't want to completely expose ourselves into the open source Ethereum environment. However, Bazoo also allowed the EVM for topping up the gas fees for, connecting with the crypto exchanges. And as you know, that a lot of crypto exchanges, they actually build the whole thing on Ethereum. So yeah, and Hyperledger is actually kind of compatible with R3. So that's why we have this kind of setup. And in terms of verification of the documents, it's pretty simple. The SME just upload the documents And we need to ask them to basically provide who issued the document. For example, let's say a bill of lading document will be issued by the logistics company. Then we will ask the logistics company to, basically verify the transaction with the digital signature. And once it's verified, it will be stored on the blockchain, and then the lenders can also see that. So it's pretty simple. It's a simple consensus use case of for the blockchain document verification.
So you store on the blockchain, because I mean, storing data on the blockchain makes the blockchain so big that it will eventually run out of.
No, it's not the case in Corda. Corda is completely connected with AWS already. They have this kind of whole thing, Yeah. So that's why the banks love Corda a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, Andrei, for taking that out. Let's go for the next questions. We have a couple minutes left. Alexandra?
Yes. Actually, underwriting is a very, very sensitive element for sure. That's why you're building this tool. But it's also meant to protect like the entire environment. And now the question is, are you trying to move away from, like, are you assuming a high risk? What do you do in the case of the SME not paying back? How do you make sure that, like, the landlords and everyone is protected in this story? Like, it feels to me like it's
I can tell you the status quo. I mean, thanks for the question. I mean, this is a very good question. A lot of SMEs couldn't get money just because there are some wrongdoers in the market. Okay, they completely scared of the banks, and the banks. So, for example, $1 million, let's say HSBC, we lend it to some big company. We just need to have a team, four or five people, and save, and then we get the money back in 3 months' time. Good deal. But the HSBC doesn't want to get into this kind of, like, I would say stupid market. Excuse my language. Stupid market. Talk to like 300 customers, like, for example, SME financing, and everyone just apply for $50,000, and that's full of scams. They don't want to do that by themselves. So we, as a platform, we basically filter those, like, scammers. And we basically get the good companies and present it to our lenders. That's what we do.
And do they have other elements of protecting themselves beyond, like, do they check? Do they have any checks on top of you, or like how?
For sure, the lenders would do the check.
Sure that they will get their money back.
The lenders would do the check anyway. The lenders would do that by themselves as well. But we actually have the pre-screen, like, they don't need to worry about the data that we provide to them is completely fraudulent. For example, some SMEs probably just change the document, like bank balance, from $1 to $10,000 with Photoshop. We already eliminated completely by working with the open banking APIs providers. So the data would directly from the banks and not from the SMEs themselves. And then when the lenders look into the use of infrastructure, they already get the trusted data. And those scammers, first, if they apply, we will just list them, like, these guys are scammers. Okay, don't work with them. Yeah. We just, like, filter them out. And probably you work in e-commerce, you know that there are so many scammers in e-commerce. So many, yeah. And some e-commerce sellers, like, they have multiple IPs and have multiple shops, and to avoid to pay the EU VAT. Okay, so we know that we have 1,000 companies on our pipeline. Yeah.
Thanks, Kenneth. I have something to add. The fact that time's up. With the information that you already had, with the information that you gathered here, it's time to move up to the next startup. We'll prioritize the other ones of you for the next Q&A. Thanks, Kenneth. And the next startup to hold their pitch and then engage within the Q&A is iSpeak. And we'll hear more about iSpeak from Sandro Franco, and then we'll meet again for the Q&A with Sandro Franco from iSpeak. Come on.
Hi, my name is Sandro, and you were not supposed to be listening to me. And let me tell you why. I was born in the Colombia of the 80s to very humble peasants that were escaping poverty and went to the city. So we have a very rough start. But the most amazing thing happened to me when I was 12. I was listening to Nirvana on the radio and my mind just exploded. I was blown and I wanted to understand what they were saying. So I just grabbed all the technology that I had available and taught myself to speak in English. And that is why you're listening to me at this moment. But this is just a summary of my mission because I do believe that learning a new language will change your life. And as a matter of fact, right now, there are almost 2 billion people trying to do the same, but they're getting this subpar experience that is not able to allow them to reach fluency. This is an almost $15 billion a year industry that is going to triple its size in the next 3 years. And where the largest opportunity is in APAC, but there's opportunity to disrupt in every single portion of this market. How are we solving the problem of learning a new language? Basically, learn with short interactive videos, videos that you can actually talk to that will have voice recognition, and you can start having a conversation and that have all this amazing, easy to use social navigation format that you can explore and discover the things that you like. And on the other side, if you're a creator, if you're a teacher, you can create these lessons and distribute them in just minutes. In the very same way that you will create a post on Instagram or on TikTok, you will be allowed to do this, and you will get automatic subtitles with AI. You wouldn't have to care for that. But when you're delivering this lesson, when you're putting into the network, we are using that content to offer true personalization, and we are building the best playlist for our students. There are no two playlists alike. Every playlist is different, is unique, and the more you use it, the more you comment, like, share, and progress through the lessons, the better it becomes over time. Basically, what we're doing different is we are thinking that everybody is not only unique, but that social learning is the key to fluency, something that you don't find on the current apps nowadays. But on the other side, we aim at provide an opportunity for the underserved millennial and Gen Z workforce to change their lives, something under the current model of free tier on the other apps you wouldn't find. We started on a B2B tier of services that we're offering to companies that need to train their employees, or vocational schools that are training their students. We're going to close the year with almost $8,000 in revenue for the last quarter, and we're going to close with a little bit about 5,000 users. We're building from Vilnius, and we have already started expanding and reaching new markets on a very simple model. We have been selected as the finalists on the GSA Awards, the only company in the Baltics, and we have already started working with the Ministry of Education of Israel. We have a 2-year plan that focuses on keeping a low OPEX so that we can launch the B2C version of this product and start working on high focus on the weekly active users. We aim at closing the first year with $20,000 on monthly recurring revenue so that we can escalate and close the first year with almost $200,000 in MRR so that we can come to a comfortable valuation on our Series A. Our team is basically the best of the best. All we share the exact same mission. We're building from Vilnius, but we distribute it across the world. My CTO, he's an expert in video delivery platforms. I've been working on solving this problem for probably 15 years and done and seen everything. At the moment, we're looking for $500,000 to help us achieve these early efforts on marketing and customer development, and I'll be happy to start working with you. Thank you so much for your time.
And we swiftly move to the Q&A, asking again you, the ones in the jury now, to ask any question to Sandro. Let's see if Bogdan or Dan or Mircea have some questions. Please, Bogdan. Dan?
Hi, Sandra. Thank you very much for your presentation. I have a question regarding your sales or like go-to-market approach. You're saying that your product is B2B. I want to understand better how exactly is it working? Like, do companies, you have a skilled approach, they come on your website and register their users, or do you have a sales team? And what's your thought on this topic?
Thanks, Dan.
Right now, we have a mix of direct sales and partnerships. So we build partnerships with companies that are already providing similar services on the educational part or upskilling part, or that are providing other types of services. So we land through those companies so that we have like no sales force on that, but we proactively also scout new companies. And the process is quite simple. We land on a free trial where we can test the English level of the entire company, even if it's on the thousands of users. And after that, we basically design or come up with a solution proposal and close the sales. It's a very low-touch sales process.
Thanks for touching upon that, Dan. Let's hear out anyone else that wants to add something, ask a question to Sandro about iSpeak, so it helps you to evaluate iSpeak again. Just shoot your question. If you have it, any feedback is welcomed as well. If there are no other questions, please, Bogdan.
So it's a quite crowded market out there. So what do you say that you have what differentiates you from the other players, because it's very crowded. The space is very crowded.
Yeah, thank you. It is in fact crowded, but it's crowded what you can call the first wave of mobile learning, right? So probably like almost 550,000 apps are language learning apps on the marketplaces, and all those apps look the same, short vocabulary games. So what we're doing different is that we're changing not only the format, that is video delivered first, but also the recommendation, the way that we provide recommendations to the users. It's more the likes of what Amazon will recommend to you as the buyer, right? Than just giving you the same product over and over again to everybody, like one size fits all. Actually, what our AI is trying to find out, how do you learn yourself and build the recommendations based on that? So a mix of both the product delivery, the delivery itself, and the AI behind it.
Thanks, Sandro. A couple more minutes for
question.
Please, please.
From my side.
Yep.
About the product metrics and how active are the users and what is their behavior in the app, like time of usage and how often?
Yeah. So we conducted when we were first developing the first prototype, we conducted a closed control group of 300 users, where we got a 34% of weekly active users. Then we start growing. Right now, we're having 14% weekly active users. That is still 6 points above the industry standard. The industry standard is 8% actually monthly active users. It's quite low. The standard is quite low, the metric. So yeah, basically video is content is king. So on that side, that's what's driving user engagement and the social part of being able to share and like and comment, just like what people do nowadays.
Thanks, Mircea. Thanks again, Sandro. Pulling off any other question, reactions that you have for Sandro now to clarify your decision-making, actually. So all the jurors are evaluating, as we speak live, all the startups that got into the final phase. So they decide who gets the investment deal. So, Andrei, you wanted to add something? Yeah. Please.
No. Actually, right now, what is the traction that you have? I mean, I understand that you have some partnerships, but what is the traction? How many people?
We have 1,900 users that are the total users using it right now, and 600 of those are monthly recurring users. The remainder are students from public schools that we sponsor. So 600 paid users and 1,300 free users.
So, and the 600, how much they pay per month?
It starts at $3 a month, and then the lowest they pay, and the most they pay is $9 a month per user per license.
Okay, cool.
Thanks, Andrei. And thanks again, Sandro. Not keeping you more than that. We move on to the next startup. The time is also close to the end. Thanks again, Sandro. And for the next startup, we welcome RepsMate, and we'll find out more about RepsMate from Alin Roshka and the entire crew behind. Yeah, I see you. And after 5 minutes of pitch, we'll get back to the Q&A with the jury members that you see on screen. So, see you in 5 minutes. Come on.
Hello everyone, I'm Alin Roșca, founder and CEO of RepsMate. RepsMate is a Romanian AI and data analytics startup that helps organizations to understand customers' needs and behavior in order to transform their agent into top performers. Probably you've interacted with call center departments such as telesales or customer support. What you don't know is the people that manage these departments are using procedures developed back in 1980s. And this translates into low agent performers, high agent turnover rate, and huge onboarding costs. That's why we developed RepsMate Conversations Intelligence, an interactive and supportive platform that helps managers to increase reps efficiency by automating several procedures and by helping them to identify areas where agents need to improve. Based on managers' feedback, we can achieve a cost reduction of the quality management procedures up to 80%. We already have 4 customers and we are in the process of scaling throughout their organizations. 4 more are in the process of starting paid POCs and 10 more show this interest in using RepsMate. We are addressing our applications to organizations that have sales, customer support, or customer service departments. Our main competitors are mainly focusing on generating insights and monitoring features, and we are doing this too. But the true solution in solving all problems is to transform all the insights into actionable insights and to augment with them the voices of organizations all over the globe. RepsMate Conversation Intelligence will be finalized at the end of the first quarter of 2022 and is using speech recognition, speaker identification, and sentiment analysis as AI core engines. From the beginning of 2022, we'll start also to develop the infrastructure of RepsMate coaching and contextual guidance module. Our vision is to give an Iron Man suit to each call center agent, and to achieve this, we are developing features like benchmarking and coaching, behavioral and emotional segmentation, and contextual real-time guidance. I would like you to imagine that every time when you speak with a sales or support agent, he understands your needs. He knows how to address them, and even more, your opinion matters. This is how RepsMate plans to increase your satisfaction by guiding the agent throughout your unique journey using AI and deep learning. I just want to give you an idea of what is happening behind our AI engines. And for the behavioral and emotional segmentation engine, we are using the most scientifically valid and reliable psychological model to measure personalities, known as the Big 5 personality model. After determining the personality preferences, we are gaining more insights by identifying the emotions of the speaker, preparing the most suitable approach for each interaction. For this module, we started collecting data from a sample of 250 people, and the labeling process is done by psychologists. Behind our AI algorithms, there is a lot of research and brainstorming, enabled by 2 of our investors and advisors with PhDs in AI, both lecturers in famous universities from Romania and France. A phrase that is guiding us is to go above standards, and that's why we have a patent pending application and we consider of applying for a few others. If you want to find out more, my colleagues are open for questions after the pitch. We have a SaaS revenue model and we are calculating the price based on the organization's department size. We are targeting at the end of 2022 an MRR of 50K, and we assume that all our customers are going to have in average 150 agents. As go-to-market, we are using direct and technical sales strategies, and we are providing a paid POC for a limited period of time in which we are customizing some of our modules accordingly to our customers' needs. RepsMate team and board of advisors have the necessary skills and expertise to fulfill our mission to empower all voices that you are speaking with when you need an answer or when you buy something over the phone. We already raised 120K, and we are not only backed by awesome investors, but also by organizations that we are working with. We are looking to organize a seed investment round of 1 million euro in the following 6 months, and where the current investors have already committed 100K. Thank you very much.
And we dive into the Q&A session. Thanks as well, and thanks again. Please, Mircea, shoot your question.
Short question on the last website. You were saying that with the money that you raised as investment, you'll be able to convert 3 to 5 multinational clients in the next year. Why only that many?
Thanks.
And how did you come up with this number?
I would like first, before I answer this question, I would like to start by making 3 announcements, because in the life of a startup, things happen very fast, and we need only 10 hours of audio to reach 95% accuracy. From January, we will have 5K MRR, and by the end of 2022, we'll reach 600,000 ARR with our beachhead market, customers from Romania. We are targeting only 3 to 5 multinational companies because we want to understand exactly what is happening in their use cases. And also, we want to add 2 more languages, one being English and the second one being Spanish.
Thanks for dropping the news as well. I saw you done. Could you please take over?
Sure. So I have a question regarding the automation behind it, right? Like salespeople are usually not too happy to add a lot of data after their meetings with the customers. So I'm curious how much of what you're doing is automated and how much is it work for them, right? Manual work.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I said the most important thing is to transform all the insights into actionable insights. And instead of providing them a lot of data to fight with them, we prefer to give them guidance directly. It's much simpler, much easier for them, and everything is automated.
Please, Alexandra.
Can you repeat? Yes, I didn't understand your answer. Can you repeat rephrase it a little bit? Because I didn't feel you answered Dan's question.
Okay, so we are starting from the recorded calls. We analyze them. We bring a lot of insights about them. And after that, we guide directly the agents by telling them, this is the best answer for this objection.
Okay, so basically they don't have to do anything. You're just listening to their recordings and you're providing them insights.
Exactly.
And how do you adapt the insights based on the size of the company they're selling to, the specificity of a domain or a vertical they're going to, because they're different, or maybe even competitive. Like when you're selling to one company, it can be a totally different approach as opposed to others.
You are very true. I've seen also this in some of our partners. They have as example 2 different telecom companies and they want different things. So what we are doing is before we selling our platform, we do a proof of concept in which we customize some of the modules and we train our AI algorithm in order to achieve high accuracy for their specific use case.
And does it scale?
Sorry?
Does it scale your model of selling? Does it scale if you're personalizing the model for each one of the companies?
Yes, it is, because most of the customization is happening behind their managers team. So we are doing something on our side, but in the same time we allow them to manage everything as well in order to allow them to make customization anytime when they want. And we need only 10 hours to reach 95% accuracy, so we don't need a lot of.
Yeah, thanks for putting that on the board. If there's things to say on the topic, please carry on. If not, let's hear out if there are any other questions coming from Bogdan, Malin, maybe Andrei, please. should. You have a couple minutes left.
Actually, I have one more question.
Please.
It was clear to me that you're going directly after some big companies with a sales approach. How are you planning to actually sell globally at one point? What type of strategies do you have beyond just sales? This is like a huge effort to go on these deals.
Thanks.
Can I take this one, Aline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Mihai, part of the ResMate team. I've done it before, scaling from 3 to 30 million with a direct sales team. Of course, we deployed some marketing tactics and resources as well. But in what we do, we really have true enterprise values there. The contracts are minimum 30,000 plus per year, 30,000 euros. Yeah, so it is direct sales. It's going to scale with people. And we know it. We've done it before. Thank you.
Thanks as well.
In the scheme where you showed clients, it was more than just enterprise. You were going after small and medium from what I saw. So how are you going to hit those?
A quick reply to that, please.
Well, yeah, I guess it's small and medium. It's the next thing which we are going to experiment. And you are right. At some point, we might go for smaller companies using marketing tactics. But right now, in our beachhead, it's 30K minimum per year per customer.
Thanks for putting all the info on board. Time's up. We move on to the next startup. Buckle up because there's plenty more to do within Spotlight Pitch Day. And starting with this, we'll switch the jury members as well. But don't forget about what we've told you earlier at the beginning of Spotlight Pitch Day, the fact that you can have a business-type access to all the information of the startups that got into Spotlight, not just the ones that you see tonight in the final phase. Just drop us an email at team@howtoweb.co and we'll tackle that. Also, the Crowdcast experience is the full experience that you can benefit from, seeing all the other founders, all the jurors, some of the mentors joined into the event that you now experience, chatting with them, and so on and so forth. So if you see this on your live Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, just make sure you hit that link and end into Crowdcast here with us now. Let's move back to the jurors. We welcome back some of them. KPMG's René Schob, Fitbit's Lavinia Neagoe, NN's Andreea Piperna, Bearing Point's Gabriel Diaconescu, alongside with Grauceanu's Adrian Rimescu and RocaX Alexandru Bogdan. With our first or next startup to pitch, which is Corsi. And we'll find out more about Corsi from Agur Emelg, first 5 minutes of pitch, then another 5 of Q&A. See you soon. Come on.
Introducing Corsi, learning and work performance made easy for every employee. There is a problem for corporates. Companies are losing revenue because they are not able to train their employees through classroom trainings or complicated solutions, digital solutions. They have higher training costs because of manual training. Management takes just too much time and causes errors. They have lower productivity because of insufficient feedback of employee productivity and development needs. The market we are tackling is Baltics, Finland, Poland, and following up with Sweden, Netherlands, Belgium, and largest CEE countries. Competition consists of Moodle, open source software, which is used by some companies, but it's not good for enterprise features. There are large legacy companies like SAP, which have complicated and expensive HRM systems, or traditional LMS systems which do not include productivity solutions. And here comes Corsi, designed for enterprise use, easy to use for frontline employees, and including productivity management toolset. Even Alphonse, one of employees of Coop, our major customer, 87-year-old, is able to use Corsi for online trainings. Corsi solution consists of 2 parts: Netflix-style employee portal with mid-manager admin capabilities, very easy to use, and more sophisticated all-in-all all-in-one admin portal with LMS, with authoring tool, automation, integrations to HRM systems, plus productivity tools, 360 feedback, annual review, employee survey. Those are respected companies who are using Corsi, major hospitals in Estonia, major retail companies, financial sector companies, national energy company, national airport, logistics companies like TPD. The business model is fairly simple. We charge up to €3 per user per month, and there are several upsell opportunities with add-on modules or cross-sell opportunities with e-commerce module. Market traction has been quite good. We have achieved over 17,000 euros MRR and 3 times growth over last 18 months. And we are serving 31,000 users. North Estonia Medical Center was able to install Corsi from contract to delivering first course to 5,000 employees in 1 week. And Coop Estonia is using Corsi for all their employees wherever they are, whatever shift they are working. Corsi has received High HR Service Provider of the Year award from Estonian Human Resource Management Association, and the team is fascinating. I have co-founder Sven Christiansen already experienced 2 exits. He's with design and marketing. My background is corporate, startup, management training, and Marko Vene background is andragogy and 7 years experience on work as training manager. We are fundraising to execute 3 key objectives: growth, hiring, marketing and salespeople, and further product development. Corsi.io is solving real problem for companies. We already have a good traction, and I'm very happy of our experienced team, both in product and training management topics. Thank you.
You all know the drill by now. Now it's time for you to ask questions. Simply shoot yours to Agu that we have here. Thanks again for joining. Let's hear out. Who has something to ask or something to say to Agu about Corsi to help you evaluate Corsi yet again? Did I saw you, Adrian and Andrea? Yeah, please jump in.
Yeah, please, Andrea.
My question is and was also as I was looking through the site this afternoon, I was wondering, I already worked in several corporations so far, and it seems to me that in every corporation that I worked, I pretty much had such a system, more or less, where we had stored our, corporate training, compliance training, all this kind of, and I was wondering, what is really different with this product from everything I've seen so far or is available nowadays in the market?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a good question. First of all, we target those companies which do not have a proper LMS system yet, but who are either using Moodle or using Excel sheets or something like that. There are still many companies like that, and they have a problem. What makes us different is that we are much simpler to use, compared to SAP, or compared to learning or regular learning management systems. We do have valuable productivity management features included, which help to design training management programs easily. So it's easy to use, quick to install, and ready for specially designed for enterprises.
Thanks for bringing that up, Andrea. Back to Adrian, if you still have your question.
Yeah, it's kind of in the same area. How do you differentiate? Because it's a very, very busy market. You have lots of solutions here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are a lot of solutions, but really our key advantage is ease of use. We have recently developed a system, not having legacy problems or legacy things included. So we were able to improve usability and feature set to fit very well with companies and still be reasonably priced.
Thanks, Adi. Let's hear out. Yeah, please, Alex, jump in.
A question here because of the ease of use. Do you have any data on how do you compare against SAP and so on in terms of engagement?
I do not have SAP data on engagement. Cannot say, but we are from time to time we are competing when making proposals, competing with SAP, and we've seen what our advantages are.
And would you be able to share with us some of the engagement numbers that you have with the current customers, like out of the 31,000 users?
Yeah. Can you define engagement number? What
like,
you exactly?
In the end, the difference is going to be if the learning management system is going to be used, and if out of the 30,000 users you have like 20,000 engaged, taking courses, finishing courses, and so on, it's a success. It's really easy to use. If you have like 1,000 of the 30,000. Then it's not a success.
Okay, so tell us more about the stickiness of the product, Agu.
Yeah, very good question. Stickiness. To start with stickiness of the product. This is very good. We have only one company churned over 2 years, but regarding engagement, we have 31,000 users and. About 22,000 of the users are using the product on a monthly basis.
I have another question.
Please, René, thanks, Alex.
I have another question with regards to, let's say one of your clients is Coop. I guess this is a retail chain, right?
Correct.
So how, I assume not all employees have laptops there. How are they following courses on mobile phones, or how is this this assured?
44% of Coop employees are using courses over mobile devices. Yeah, 44% of them.
And are you also providing content, or content is always provided by your customers?
At the moment, content is developed by our customers. We do include authoring tool. It's included in the package, no additional cost. And we do include interactive elements to make videos and whatever content you have more interactive. So it's very easy to use. So companies are doing this themselves. But we are working on solutions to integrate third-party content providers to our platform. This is next step we are planning.
Yeah, thanks. We're past the 10 minutes and we don't break rule number 1 as we've cleared this out at the beginning. So thanks, Agu, for telling us more about Corsi. Time's up and we move on to the next startup, which is Convi. And for us to find out more about Convi, we have Ioana. So Bob, first 5 minutes is going to be you pitching, and then another 5 of Q&A with the jurors that you see on screen. Enjoy, and see you in a bit. Come on.
Hi, I'm Ioana, co-founder of Convi. We are disrupting the alternative assets market by enabling anyone to own fractions of assets like fine wine and high-end watches. Alternative assets have always been a great investment opportunity, often providing higher returns than the stock market. And they perform differently than traditional investing methods like bonds or gold, making them great for diversifying any financial portfolio. But it's only the wealthy who have been able to access investment opportunities like this. And that is because alternative assets are scarce and really expensive. So for example, investment grade watches are costing in excess of 250,000 euro. Until now, Convi allows anyone to invest in alternatives. Through data and market intelligence, we are able to source investment grade assets. For example, watches that increase in value by 20% per annum. And we allow anyone to start with a click of a button with as little as €250. Our app allows our customers to crowdfund investments sourced by specialists. For example, Watch Fund, who is already managing 60 million in assets in watches for high net worth individuals. Our partners are able to source, store, and safely insure the assets. And we've possibly created the fastest model in the crowdfunding space. Our customers can become shareholders in only 4 minutes. And there's a wave of companies in the US market enabling the masses to invest in collectibles. For example, Masterworks, who has already gathered 100 million in funding and become the first unicorn in the space. But strict European regulations don't let them expand here. And Convi is here to take over this 23 billion euro market. As we grow, we've seen that the highest demand is coming from Gen Z and millennials. Since launching earlier this year, we've already signed up almost 5,000 users. On launch day alone, we've processed 24K in transactions. And now we are working to convert 300,000 pre-orders into orders. And we are the first to have been able to market to the whole EU thanks to the crowdfunding regulations that we are abiding to. We are creating self-sustaining legal entities whose whole purpose is to purchase, manage, and sell assets. Our customers are fully protected as they are owners of the asset. And of course, the Convi takes its commissions throughout this process. Our team has proven we can execute with high standards with very little capital. We are building upon our experience shipping large-scale financial systems like Shopify payments, building marketing strategies at Facebook, and leading engineering teams at VC-backed startups. And we know that in order to become the global leader, we have to balance variety and quality. Early next year, we are going to expand to the wine market, and many other asset classes would follow. We are going to launch a liquidity solution, which is going to expand our target market. And these are just small stepping stones towards the future. Sourcing our own assets in-house, building our own asset securitization product externally, and even launching our own index funds. And we are now accepting a 250,000 euro top-up to our pre-seed round. We have just closed 475,000 euros in order to launch our business and set a scalable legal model in place, a model that can support 100 million in assets. We are backed by Axel Springer and Porsche and high-profile angels from Shopify, Snapchat, and other fintech unicorns. And if you are as excited as we are about democratizing alternative investments, we'd love for you to join us. Would you like to discuss anything in more detail? I'd be happy to.
Now, let's crowdsource some questions. I saw you earlier, Lavinia. Just open your mic and shoot your question if you have, as well, Alex, and all the others. Thanks again, Ioana. And let's hear out what do you have for Convi.
Sure. So my question would be, how do you do the evaluation of the products, of the assets?
Yes, so for starters, all the assets that we are putting on the platforms as of today are new assets. So we are relying very much on the RRP, the recommended retail price. And on top of that, we also have authenticators which assure that the items are real.
Thank you.
Ioana, happy to see you again. 2 questions from me. First of all, there has been not that much information in the presentation on the distribution channels. So basically, how exactly you get to the targeted profile of client. And the second is about the liquidity of the investment. Since we are also speaking quite low amounts, what's the liquidity of the investment if people really want to get out?
Sure. So on question 1, on the profile of how do we gather our clients, The users come from multiple channels. A strong channel is online advertising, social advertising through Facebook and Instagram. Thanks to our co-founder Lena, she's able to source customers that sign up at €3 to €5 per sign up. And on top of that, we are working a lot on the organic route. So we are working a lot on content. We have our own magazine, and we are already starting to partner with influencers and marketplaces that we are having affiliate partnerships with. Sorry, the
Back to
second
the
question.
liquidity, yeah, of the assets.
Liquidity. So as of today, we have fixed appreciation periods that range between 2 to 10 years. And we are realistically putting out offerings that are between 3 to 5 years, and we are creating some variety there, but we know that is not enough. So our plan is to launch a liquidity solution next year.
Does that clear your questions, Andrea? Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ioana. Let's hear out anyone else. Please, Gabriel.
Another question I'd have, because we are looking at long term, maybe 5-10 years, even more, and keeping them secure, it's quite expensive. So do you forward these costs of holding them, or do you hold them? So how does it work?
Thanks, Gabriel.
Yes, so we are not holding the assets. And we are not planning to in the immediate future. We are partnering with specialists that can not only store, but also insure the assets. So for watches, for example, they are going to be held in a safe box in Singapore. And that firm does anything from art to watches, jewelry, etc.
The question was more in who pays this?
Oh, the customers are bearing these costs. But keep in mind that we are negotiating very low prices compared to other smaller retailers.
Thanks for bringing that up, Gabriel. Prince Rene.
What is your revenue stream again? I mean, can you explain me how this may develop also over time towards your target of 100 million assets?
Yes, so we are charging revenue when we are charging a commission when the asset is being purchased. That is for the SPV, the single purpose vehicles, in order to help manage these SPVs. And that is of 3%. And then when the asset is being sold, we are charging on the profits. So that's also where we are focusing on finding the best partners that can source the best opportunities. And the profit margin fee is of 10% of the profits compared to the initial asset price. But keep in mind that as we are in fintech, we know that we cannot become profitable through one product. So we are planning to launch 5 products in the next 5 years and keep capitalizing on the same customers.
Thanks for the input as well, Rene. Any other questions, feedback that you want to provide to Ioana about Convi? Please, Alex.
Yeah, I would be very curious if you have any forecast on how the price of your goods that will be shared with your customers will evolve, considering the fact that being more accessible could push on increasing the initial price of the goods. And when you need to monetize, you should find the one person that is willing to pay that amount that can be accumulated, generating returns.
Thanks, Alex.
So I think this is a long discussion. Personally,
if you have a short answer to that, Ioana?
We can only rely we cannot know what the future will bring, and we can only forecast based on the past. We can look at other industries that were not affected by being democratized, such as the stock market, for example, where people can buy fractions of stocks. So I personally think that there will just be more supply when there is more demand.
Thank you all. We do all have an asset that we should take care of, and that's time, and we are past the time for Convi. So let's move on to the next startup. Thanks again, Ioana, for introducing us Convi. And the next startup to showcase is Brio. We'll find out more about Brio from Dragoș Iliescu that we now have on screen and ready to pitch. So see you after 5 minutes for the Q&A. Come on.
think about an ER unit in a hospital. Think about all the data that's needed in order to evaluate a patient, how it is produced, and how every increase or decrease of a parameter counts in future decisions. Now think about a patient or a doctor or a hospital without any data. How would the patient receive proper treatment? Well, this patient is any Romanian K-12 student, because school grades, the data that is produced by the educational system, are based on the spot subjective evaluations, barely comparable between students, schools, and classes, and barely comparable from one moment to another in time for the same student. And these data are meaningless for students and parents and educators. This has gotten really worse in the pandemic, which imposed a shift from the traditional educational model to a digital one. Of course, the pandemic will end, so we hope, and some of these improvements will disappear. But we strongly believe that digitalized testing in education is here to stay even after the pandemic. So let me introduce you to BRIO. BRIO is a standardized testing system focused on Romanian K-12 students, designed to help parents, teachers, and schools to evaluate students better and more efficiently. At the moment, we test for math, Romanian language, and history, plus basic literacy and digital literacy, with more tests coming up as we speak. So, well, in a nutshell, school tests. Maybe you hated them, but you know that they offer critical information. In any case, the real output of BRIO is not the test itself or the score, it's the report that is multifaceted and quite similar to a medical analysis report, stating what chapters are well covered and what chapters need more work and exactly how much more work is needed in order to achieve progress. So, using the best psychometrics and technical capabilities, we designed a state-of-the-art tool that offers not only diagnosis, but also indicates the path to educational progress. At its core, we have a state-of-the-art item response theory engine that enables an objective testing system unlike any other. It was calibrated on 60,000 students. It can generate tests of precise difficulty and target subtopics identified for improving weaknesses. And above that, we have built an artificial intelligence engine, an endless test generator, as we call it, that can be used for math training for every little or big chapter for any grade. This particular engine is unique in the testing world and can be easily localized in any territory and in any language because it uses test generation patterns and itemizes math problems with such ease that the translation for a new language and school curriculum can be developed practically in weeks. So we have the evaluation part and the basic of training for better results in the same product, providing solid feedback, and above all, we are the only source of valid data for the educational system, at least in Romania. Great, let's talk figures. A market of 2.5 million students, that is 12 generations every year, with a new generation of 200 to 250,000 students entering the system every year. We have 12 to 20,000 schools, public and private, in Romania, and over 200,000 teachers that are in need of digital tools to better perform evaluative activities. And then, of course, we have the officials of the Romanian educational system that are continuously talking about introducing standardized testing in education, starting already this year. So I'm very sure that this change will come, and we are in pole position to benefit from it. The competition that we face now in Romania is only against the old ways of performing evaluation and testing. Granted, progress in the direction we want to go has been kind of slow sometimes, but it is inevitable. In the EU and globally, similar testing products offer a market that produces literally billions. Let me name a few: the SAT, the ACT, the GRE, the TOEFL, the GMAT, well-established systems in well-established markets. We have started the BRIO go-to-market strategy as a B2C product before the pandemic, and we have very good figures to show. Over 53,000 users, close to 120,000 tests administered, close to 2,000 teachers enlisted, close to 1,000 schools enlisted. Those figures got us to a monthly recurring revenue of 20,000 euro. And we're not even close to cover the market. We think about a realistic 10 to 15% of the total number of students in maybe 2 to 3 years. At the 100 euro per year subscription, the revenue would be, at the very least, interesting for every investor. So I'm here to pitch the immense potential development of BRIO in the Romanian market as we consolidate and also build a B2B2C division and the software as a service product to better serve the needs of educational organizations. I also pitch for our international expansion based on AI-driven practice tests. We have a very clear roadmap on these developments, and we are committed to execute it really, really well. So let me finish with a few words about me and my team. I helped creating similar systems for different governments across the globe, and I'm definitely not alone in this. In Romania, I lead a team of highly skilled and experienced professionals, each of them champions in their field of expertise. I really strongly believe that our future may depend on flagging EdTech as the priority zero of our time. So join us in this endeavor. Thank you very much.
So let's hear out questions that come on top of priority zero. Please shoot yours, just open your mic. And also, all the people in the audience that are in Crowdcast, they can also shoot their questions in chat, and the founders will get back to you as soon as they get out of the Q&A with the jury members. Please, shoot your questions now. Please,
what's the market size in Romania, in euro, like? Potential revenues for you.
We've actually said that in the pitch. The total market size is about. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah, it's okay.
All good.
So the total market size is about 35 to 40 million euro.
Okay, and how easy can you scale out of Romania?
Well, the B2B platform is quite difficult to scale. Everything is scalable, of course, but it requires a lot of effort because B2B obviously requires a lot of effort. You need salespeople, you need to know the local market very well. It is doable, and of course we can do it, but we rather rely on something else here. We rely on that app that we extract from what we do now, not on the software as a service product, but on the training app. And the training app is very easily scalable. The engine that we've built is very easily translatable. So basically what we've done is we've itemized the whole math knowledge. So if you look at any curriculum around the world, of course, they are slightly different, and maybe, I don't know, addition with 2-digit numbers is learned in Romania in the second class, and in Germany in the first class, and in France in the third class, but everybody learns that. So basically, we've decomposed the whole curriculum of math in bricks, in individual bricks. It's about 600 bricks all those bricks are now itemized, and they are procedurized. So you can generate items on those bricks. So everything that you have to do is translate those bricks. You don't need to translate gazillions of items anymore. It means that it takes maybe 2 to 3 weeks to have a new language in the system.
I have a question, if I may, regarding...
Please, Alex. Then we have Lavinia.
You're mentioning in the pitch an AI module that helps Brio deliver results. My question is, what is the exact role of this AI module, and how this module is learning? Where does it get its info to evolve?
Yep. The AI module is basically a learning module. So we rely on the testing effect. Testing is not just for evaluation. Testing has a learning effect, actually. There's a lot of research on that in cognitive science, what happens in your brain while you are tested on anything. Yeah? So you basically learn better while you are tested. Yeah? You activate information and you memorize better. So that's what we rely on. So it's the testing effect. What we now have is classes 1-4. So the system is already running now for classes 1-4, so for primary school. And we're in a public beta test. And if you go on Brio, go to brio.ro, you can see that happening, and you can test yourself and test the system. So it generates an infinity of items from that point of view. So it is active already. How we train the system, we rely on similarities between the items that are automatically generated and the items that we already have in the data bank. So don't forget that we have a data bank of in excess of 20,000 items in math, covering classes 1 to 12, so K-12, more than 20,000 items that have been calibrated on nationally representative samples of at least 5,000 students for each class. So 5,000 students for class 1, class 2, so on and so. So all in total, we have a little bit over 60,000 students that have already been tested on those items. So we have very clear item parameters for those items. So all we have to do now is compare the item that was generated automatically based on similarity, of course, with other items about which we know already how difficult they are, and so on and so forth.
We had Lavinia, and I saw you, Rene, if that's okay. Yeah, cool. Shoot
Sure.
yours.
So what is your competition on the international market? So for sure, for example, I have experienced the Netherlands education system, and I know they are using something similar. So
exactly.
Provide more insight into what's out there on the market.
Provide the short answer, Dragos. We have also a question from René, and the time is also coming to an end.
There is competition in basically all the developed countries. The only thing that they do wrong, I would say, is that they stay locally. So they have developed assessment products that are very well suited for their local curriculum. I know well our colleagues who work in the Netherlands, they are well suited for the Netherlands. They don't want to go out of the Netherlands. That's what they want to cover. And of course, you have good competition in a very dense market in Europe and in North America, but think about all the rest of the world that isn't covered. Half of Europe isn't covered, by the way, and whoever caters for France, Netherlands, Germany, the Nordic League, and so on, they don't want to go out. They don't seem to be interested in going out of their own country. Think about Latin America. Think about the Arab world, where there's a huge appetite for this kind of product now, and so on and so forth. So yes, there is virtually competition, but they don't seem to see themselves as such.
Thanks, Dragos. Let's take the one coming out from René earlier.
Just a follow-up question. So the next 3 countries would be which ones?
We want to translate. The first translation is obviously going to be English, definitely. The next, I don't know about the next 3 countries. I know about the next 3 languages. So English is going to be a language. The other languages are going to be probably Spanish and probably Arabic. But that is still to be settled. Spanish for certain, yes.
Thank you all. I don't know what language shall I use, but the time is up. I hope you all understand that. We have 10 minutes and they're gone. Let's move to the next startup. And the next startup to hold their pitch is going to be Alpha AR, represented tonight by Madis. So we'll find out about Alpha AR from Madis Alesma. 5 minutes for pitch and another 5. Then for Q&A. Enjoy. Come on.
Hi everyone, my name is Madis and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Alpha AR, where we are building a powerful AI tool to make 3D easy and scalable. I'm sure that every one of you have heard and seen an augmented reality solution which can open a totally new virtual world to us. But did you know that the global AR market will increase from the current $30 billion into $300 billion market by the end of 2024? This means that there is a huge opportunity in front of us, especially from the content creation perspective. If you would like to showcase something in AR, you obviously need to have a 3D model. Your main options today are either to make the model fully manually, scan it with laser scanners, or to use the photogrammetry. But unfortunately, with all those 3, the labor and time costs are huge since we need a lot of human interaction. And that's why, unfortunately, we are talking about non-scalable solutions. In Alpha AR, we believe it should be much easier, and anyone should be able to create the content without having any technical skills. While using our unique deep neural network solution, Alpha AR turns the existing 2D product images into 3D models automatically, and all that comes with a monthly subscription fee. We launched our service to the public at the end of last year. Over the last 9 months, we have proved that there is a huge demand for our solution. We have signed agreements with global retailers, and we are working with several well-known leading 3D and AR platforms who are already using our solution. Our team consists of 10 like-minded people who all share the same vision: to be the leaders who will lower the entry barrier into AR sector by making 3D easy and scalable. Currently, we are also raising our next round of 700,000 to accelerate the growth in 2022. We already have our lead investor, so there is still a bit of room for the remaining 200 to 300,000 euros. And if you're interested in joining us, then we will be happy to discuss that. Thank you for your attention, everyone.
And this is actually what the Q&A is for. So let's hear out any questions. As long as all the people in the audience joined in Crowdcast can also ask questions, because the founders will get to them as well. Alex, please.
Yeah, so assuming I have an online store or something that would like to use AR for a product, please take us through the process that I need to do in order to generate a 3D model, and let us know a bit more about the technology that you are using in order to generate from a 2D a 3D model that can be used for marketing purposes or anything.
Thank you.
Thanks, really valid question actually. The process itself is relatively simple and easy. I mean, if you already have an online store, then I'm only going to ask you to send us either the reference images or your website link where we can see the actual product images. And I assume you already have the dimensionality information, which means that we can get the input images and dimensionality information, and based on those details, our AI is already able to generate the model itself. And we can also prepare it for the web AR outputs.
Could you tap into the technology you're using to bring up the second question of Alex?
It's obviously a longer discussion, but in short, what we are doing is it's our own unique AI solution where we are using different types of components. So at first, it will generate the mesh of the model, then it denoises the model, and as a last step, it puts the texture on top of it. Usually, the AI might generate some sort of artifacts. So if the product has some sort of unique patterns, textures, or anything like that. So for those types of reasons, we have our own internal 3D modeling team who will clean the model and make it web presentable, so we can send you the final output, which can be instantly shown in web AR actually.
Okay, I don't want to monopolize everything, but I have two follow-up questions. One is, how much does it cost in the end compared to the existing solutions to get from 2D a 3D model? And in terms of please answer this one and I reformulate it in an easy way the next one.
Yep.
The prices is, this is something which heavily depends about the complexity of the item itself. So if we are talking about IKEA style furniture, home decor items, then the prices can start from 10 to 20 euros per item. But on the other hand, if we are talking about some kind of luxury segment items, such as Louis Vuitton items or Rolex watches, then the price can be in a magnitude of 90 to 150 euros.
Thank you.
And what is the balance between service effort that your team provides against the already output of the algorithm that you are providing?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand exactly.
Say it again.
What is the share between custom services that you are providing, meaning that you adjust the model, you intervene with the designers and everything, against out-of-the-box results for your algorithms?
So at the moment, we are calling that we are in a hybrid mode, which means that we are fully focusing on the modeling generation part. If needed, we can fine-tune the model in-house, obviously, but in that terms, it heavily depends what kind of complexity the products are. So the percentage can be, in some categories, it might be 60-70% automatic, and it might need some 40% of manual fine-tuning. So it means that the manual fine-tuning part can take from few minutes to few hours. Usually, this is something on average what we are seeing at the moment.
Thanks, Alex. Let's hear out if there are any other questions. We'll take one of them with a couple minutes left. And if not, we will generate thus more time. But please, Adi.
What's your competition and how do you differentiate?
Thanks.
Great question, actually. I would say the main competitors at the moment are exactly those freelancers who are doing everything manually at the moment. And also the guys who are doing the modeling with laser scanners with photogrammetric approach, because we are disrupting this sector the most. So we are making their job pretty difficult, actually.
Okay, and one more question. You generated 38,000 euro in last quarter. What's the forecast for this one?
This quarter will be something in the same range, so it will be in a magnitude of 40 to 50,000 euros.
So is the third quarter linear without a growth? Why?
No, there will be a slight growth. We are seeing that the fourth quarter will be in a magnitude of 40 to 50,000 euros.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for touching upon that. Thanks, Madis, for bringing up Alpha AR to the finals. We are run out of time, and we'll move on to the next startup. So, starting with it, we'll also switch the jurors that we see on screen now. Thanks for asking your questions, and we'll move on to the next ones. So for the next batch of jurors and startups to pitch and have their Q&A, we have again with us Laura Ștefan from Mastercard, Horia Velicu from BRD Societe Generale, Monica Obogeanu from Orange, and Andrei Bartoș from Credo. And on the investor side, we are joined by Andrei Dudoiu from Seedblink and also Dan Mihaescu from Gapminder. And don't forget about the fact that you can access as well more data about the startups that got into Spotlight, not just the ones that reached the final stage. And for that, you just need to drop us an email at team@howtoapp.co. And also the fact that all the full experience happens in Crowdcast. So whether you're joining this from a Facebook Live, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, just make sure you hit the link to end in Crowdcast here with us tonight. So the next startup to pitch is Vatistec, and we'll find out more about Vatistec from Adrian Ispas after 5 minutes. We'll meet again here for the Q&A. Thanks. Enjoy. Come on.
You know how time-consuming it is to manually transcribe audio files or look up certain information in them, and how useful speech recognition technology can be. But current solutions have some big problems. First of all, the results for many use cases are weak. They cost a lot for large amounts of data, and companies end up using this kind of technology just for a part of their needs. You always have to wait for the big tech guys who update their technology every half a year or a year. But most of the time, the customers need a better technology in few months, not in a year. In 2021, the global speech recognition market was over 70 billion. From this market, we target the segment that include artificial intelligence technology. And as immediate step, we look at the European segment that include this type of technology. The speech market grow year after year with 70% per year. And it's estimated to reach over 31 billion in 2025. And our big plan to conquer the world is to take the speech market by winning European market first. And we are already started with the Romanian market. But why you'll win this race? Our competitors are developing one model for all use cases, a model which is stuck with an accuracy of 75 to 85%. And the customer doesn't have the control of this accuracy and cannot improve it. We are developing a customer-focused model, which achieves an accuracy of 19 to 95%. The customer has control of this accuracy and can improve it. So the main differentiator of our infrastructure is that the customer can start from high accuracy pre-trained models and improve this accuracy with more training if necessary. From the point of view of how our technology works, we start with raw data. We label this data in-house, we train the model, and after training, we deploy the model on cloud or on-prem. If our pre-trained models or our customer models need improvements, we introduce new data in the pipeline. Our technology offers better accuracy at more affordable cost. And because the diversity of our models, the customer can successfully use our technology in many areas. Moreover, we design our infrastructure like a continuous learning pipeline, which allow us to come up with technology updates in a short period of time. Also, in the same infrastructure, the customer can transform his data into a tailored technology for his use case. Our annual recurring revenue exceeds $1,000. At the moment, we have 5 new potential clients in the test phase, and so far we have processed almost 500,000 minutes, which means 4 years of non-stop work or 17 years as a full-time job saved. Also, you raised a pre-seed in September. If we were to summarize our ideal customer in one sentence, we'll say our target customers are companies and developers who need to integrate a speech recognition API either on cloud or on-premise. This customer can successfully use our technology on many use cases, but we have focused just a few of them. One of our customers used successfully our technology in media use case. With another, we have started to develop a model for online meetings. At the same time, you are in discussion with someone who wants to use our technology to build voice assistant and someone who wants to use our technology in call centers. And the way you design our infrastructure make it easy to adapt this kind of technology to new customers with a minimum of resources. Our business model is simple. We charge our customer per hour, per transcriber instance, or per custom model. From the point of view of go-to-market strategy, so far you've gone for direct approach and demos. You look at the organic growth and paid acquisition strategies in the same time. Our team is one of our strong points. All of us have a background in computer science and previous experience from IE or product startups to experience in big companies. Further, you will work to improve the technology accuracy. We will develop the technology in new languages and new domains. We are planning to grow our team with marketing, sales, and engineering talents. In 1 year, we'll have 200K as annual recurring revenue. Next year, we are planning to raise a new seed round, and you'll use this money to expanding in new European markets, on marketing and sales process, and of course, on product development. We are Vatisek.
And we are about to address questions now. So you all know the drill by now. Just open up your mic and shoot your question, please.
If I can ask, for example, for a use case, let's say, I don't know, banking conversation in Romania, how many minutes do you need to train a custom model, and how much time does it take you to label those minutes?
Thanks, Horia.
Thanks for your question, Horia. This is a good questions. Yeah, you can start with a few hours. Let's say, for example, 10 hours. And you introduce this data in our pipeline and can label this data with our validators team. And if the results, it's enough for your use case, it's perfect. If you want to use, if you want to improve this accuracy of initial pre-train, you introduce new data in the pipeline. So you can start with 10 hours of data. You can introduce more data to improve this accuracy. If it's not okay, you can introduce more. And it's a continuous learning pipeline. Imagine, let's say, like a continuous learning pipeline.
Thank you.
Thanks, Horia. Let's hear out any other question. Just open your mic. It's the easiest way to do so. And in Crowdcast, put on your questions because the founders will get there as well. So who's next in the jury? Please, Andre.
Hi. I would like to go back to the competition. So this is an existing market, a multi-billion-dollar market actually, and I feel like there's a lot of competition among the big tech guys, as well as sort of the upcoming startup guys, including some of the open source players. And I'm not a huge fan of you just dismissing all of them as being less accurate. Can you tell us who would you consider like, the closest competition, like the strongest competition, someone you actually are concerned about? And then can you tell us what makes you unique and so much better?
Thanks, Andre.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how you said, you have also competition from big tech, let's say, but the main differentiator it's the big tech companies or other companies from this market offers a general model for general use case. But from a lot of other use cases, you need better models. You need better accuracy. You need to develop a technology tailored for the customer. For example, one of our customers switched from Google technology to our technology. It's because our technology is more fit on their use case. So this is the main differentiator and our main competitive advantage. You can improve this accuracy and you can give the customer control of this accuracy.
If you want to expand on that, or you want to go next, Andre, to another question, maybe another follow-up question will pop out. Yeah, please.
But so from the use cases that you listed, you are pretty general yourselves as well. So how is it possible that your models are more specific to the customer's use cases?
You started with few use cases, from example, media or voice assistants or call centers. And these use cases can be extended to new customers with a minimum of resources. So it's just about data. If a customer needs a new model for their use case, all you need is just data. The entire infrastructure is the same, and it's the same for other languages. The data is just one point that is changing this equation.
Thanks for putting that on board. Thanks also, Adi, for responding to that. Whoever has any other question, Andrei?
Congrats, Adrian. You mentioned that you just raised your pre-seed round, and you are targeting the seed round probably in 1 year from now. How would you spend this award investment if you'll take it?
Yeah, the next round we will spend to expand in new European markets. We'll spend on marketing and sales to grow our revenue, and of course on product development.
So you would already you have use cases, or you have how to spend the money already if you get this award so soon after the pre-seed?
Yeah, you know how to spend the money.
Okay.
No problem about that. Let's move on to the next question. Did you had something, Laura, done? Trying to figure out.
I was curious about how big is the team now?
At the moment, we have 3 members in the product development team. You are looking for someone to join us on the machine learning engineer position, and someone on the business development position. And of course, you have our validators team with other few members.
So basically, 200K next year or in 12 months will be achieved with this new format, like one business development team, person, sorry, and the rest will be in the product dev and in the technology.
Yeah.
Okay. And for this 6,000 revenues, $6,000, I think it was, yearly revenues. How many customers do you have?
At the moment, 1 big customer.
Wait.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Adi, and thank you all. No translation needed. We are running out of time. So we move on to the next startup, and for that, we'll have together with us Mike Dragan to tell us more about Streams Live. You know the drill, 5 minutes of pitch and another 5 minutes of Q&A. So enjoy Streams Live pitch, and see you again in a bit. Come on.
My name is Mike Dragan, and I'm the co-founder of Streams.live. At Streams.live, we build live shopping software. We feel live shopping is a massive untapped opportunity. It has had a huge growth in the past 2 years in Asia, especially China, and we feel like the West is next. We have already scaled Streams.live up to more than 1,000 merchants on our platform, which range from small to medium enterprises to global enterprises. And our next step is to scale even faster. Live shopping has some great attributes. In terms of numbers, it delivers a 5 times better conversion rate than traditional e-commerce. At 9%, it's the best conversion in digital commerce in terms of channel. It also generates 3 times more engagement than any other form of digital media. And we feel like it's the future of commerce. We feel like online and offline retail are converging right now. And the next commerce iteration, the next big commerce channel is neither online or offline. It's both, it's entertaining and it's engaging. And we feel it's live shopping. In terms of market, we position ourselves as one of the key players in what's going to be the a 1 trillion market by 2024. So it's going to be the fastest growing commerce channel ever. We position ourselves as a B2B2C company. Basically, we offer software to companies that want to engage the customers through live shopping. Among our competitors are companies such as Bamboozer and LiveScale, but there are some things that make us really special. The first one is what we call the Live Brain, which is a set of algorithms, cutting-edge machine learning algorithms that deliver wonderful experiences for customers and a better conversion rate for merchants. It handles hate speech detection, summarization, sentiment analysis, but also what we call the live bot, a chatbot that guides customers in a personalized manner to finalize their shopping. One other key component of our technology is what we call Photon, which is real-time video. We call it Photon because it travels from one end to another at the speed of light, and it allows us to create all sorts of wonderful real-time conversations between sellers and buyers. It also decreases our cost of delivering video by 90%, which enable us to offer a freemium onboarding to our customers. And we are the only company that can provide premium onboarding to customers due to these cost reductions. Basically, live shopping transforms both online and offline retail. The main things are that it brings new live and foot traffic in brick and mortar stores and digitalizes the in-store experience. At the same time, it creates engaging experiences in e-commerce stores, which have not changed all that much in the past 20 years. So it connects online and offline in a better digital commerce experience. Our customers range from all sorts of companies such as beauty and fashion, all the way to cars, electronics, and many other industries. We have companies such as Walgreens, Boots, Samsung, Tupperware, and others using our platform, but there's also 1,000 more small and medium enterprises that use them on a day-to-day basis in their e-commerce processes. About the founders, I have a background in computer science. I handled product and marketing, and Andrei handles management and finance due to his background. He's the CEO of the company, and I'm the chief operating officer. We've been working together for the past 10 years. Even previous to starting this company, we have experience in growing and scaling e-commerce software companies, and we have previously exited an omni-channel retail software company to a German corporation. A little bit about the growth. In the 8 months since our public launch in 2021, we have already amassed 1,000 merchants and we generated $300,000 in revenue. And our target for 2022 is to reach 30,000 merchants and increase our revenue 10 times to $3 million. And for this, we are raising a Series A of $5 million by the end of 2021. Thank you for watching my pitch and seeing live shopping as the future of commerce.
Now, speaking about online and offline, with you online, with us offline, let's hear out any questions that the jury members have. Opening the floor, just open your mics and shoot your question, please. Please, Andrei.
Hi, Mike.
Hi there.
So you help your customers sell more, right? But how do you sell to your customers? How do you get merchants? I admit that every time that I see that a target audience is, SMEs to big corporates, I get this, hysterical fear because it's really different to sell to SMEs and corporates. So how'd you solve this?
Well, we started with big corporates. We thought that was our target because there were a lot of brands that were reaching out to us. That's how we got Walgreens, Boots, L'Oreal, and so on and so forth. These are the most active companies searching for live shopping at the moment. And obviously, you cannot turn down Walgreens or Boots or L'Oreal. And we thought that that was our key target. So we hired some people in sales, which have not done all that good. Most of our sales this year have come organically. So we discovered that we should rather focus on small to medium enterprises and better customers.
We're getting back to Mike in a second.
And basically this has led to an increase in sales.
Yeah, just recap the last 20 seconds or so, Mike.
All right. So we started focusing on small and medium enterprises, better customer success, because we noticed that this increases the number of merchants on our platform. So basically the 1,000 merchants that we mentioned there were up 100% within the past 2 months. And we expect to have the same growth because we shifted our target towards small and medium enterprises and better customer success services rather than more sales. So we shifted more towards small and medium enterprises, which also bring in larger customers.
If there are no follow-up thoughts, let's move on to other questions coming up from Laura, Andrei, Horia, please.
I have a question. Hello, everyone. I didn't get the chance to say hi at the beginning. So as a shopper, like an addicted online shopper, I obviously quite like your idea. However, I'm not very clear on how the actual shopping process is finalized. Meaning, so basically what is the actual flow for the end consumer? How do they get to the shop and how do they finalize it? Meaning whether you have any control on the payment part of it. That's my
Thanks, Laura.
My interest.
Not the payment part itself, but we handle everything in terms of adding to cart and checkout through an integration with the background e-commerce solutions. So you can think of live shopping as a better interface for shopping. The e-commerce infrastructure in the backend is the same. So it's a plug-and-play solution. Whether it is Shopify, Magento, Adobe Commerce, Vtex, or whatever, we can plug into these platforms really easily. And we can create this interface of shopping. So for you as a customer, you just see the live stream, you see the click to buy button, you add it to the cart.
Lost you again for a sec, but we'll get back in a bit with Mike. So no worries about spending more on shopping, Laura. Could you state that again, Mike?
So basically everything happens in real-time video. You add to cart, you shop, and you pay as you would with any other channel. It's only much more fun.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I think there was something coming up from Andrei, and then if not, just let me know again. Yeah, please, Andrei. No, okay, cool. Just checking up on you. Andrei,
I have
done?
A question.
Please, yeah. Please go and shoot yours, Andrei.
The $30,000 revenue, is this gross or net? Do you include the value of the yes,
No, this is net. We don't handle, we don't count the GMV. So the gross merchandise value is not accounted in. We actually don't have that number yet because we don't have a connection with actual payment.
Thanks. I hope it answered yours. That was Adrian. If anyone else has something to ask, we have a couple moments, please.
Actually, I'm wondering, how are you planning to get from 1,000 active users to 30,000 active users? What's your strategy? It's just,
In brief.
seems like overnight.
It's not overnight, it's 12 months from now. And we are benefiting from this huge change in commerce. Basically, a lot of businesses have been transformed by A, COVID outbreak, and B, by what's happening in terms of user behavior. And we noticed a 200% growth in the past 2 months. And while we expect this growth to slow down at some point, Shopify alone hosts around 1.6 million merchants.
Mm-hmm.
And we believe that the market is much bigger in terms of live commerce software as a service. So you can think of us as kind of like the Shopify for live shopping. And
I get it, but is it like an objective has to be smart? Is it realistic? Like, is it really, when you're like in 1 year, you have 1,000 merchants and you expect in 2022 to actually get to 30,000, is it like really realistic?
Well, let me put it this way. In September, we had 500 users. Now we have 1,000 users. And at the beginning of the year, when we publicly launched, I think it was March or April, we had 2. So basically,
yes, but you're counting on organic traffic that comes to you. I haven't heard much about your strategies in adopting, like acquiring new merchants, and what, like, then how are you going to get to 30,000? Because organically, without investing, they're not coming along.
But let me tell you something, that speaking about speed, we're going to speed up towards the next one. But if there are any other questions that you need answers for, Bogdan will soon move on with the investors to decide upon who gets the investment deal. And if there's something else, my colleague Monica can provide you the details with, so to help you to evaluate. Yeah, and we'll definitely can do any intros for clearing up any of the Streams Live strategy for that. So running up towards the next startup, thanks Mike for telling us more about Streams Live. Thanks Alexandra, and to all for asking your questions. And to find out more about Codewell, which is the last but not least startup to pitch, we have invited Nino Caras to tell us more. So 5 minutes we'll spend on that, and the other 5 on Q&A with the jury members on screen. Enjoy, and see you in a bit. Come on.
Hey everyone, my name is Nino Caras, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Codewell AI. 7 out of 10 customers call contact centers just because they want to be served. Because of this, we truly believe that conversational AI represents the next step of digitalization of companies, allowing them to create the AI-powered workforce that will automate this task. And chat is the perfect channel for this. Since 2015, chat apps are the most used type of apps on the market, making them the perfect channel for AI. So over the past few years, we've seen many companies in pursuit of this vision turn to creating chatbots. However, in order to use this potential, chatting with a digital assistant should feel like talking to a real human. And this is where chatbots fail spectacularly. 73% of chatbot users worldwide churn due to low-level conversational capabilities and never come back. And that is why we created Codewell AI. With Codewell AI, we build digital assistants that can speak on a human level and automate processes within the customer service and sales departments. Our proprietary context-aware recognition technology allows us to create digital assistants that can speak any language with a very high precision of over 95%. In fact, our assistants can speak multiple languages at the same time, as well as multiple dialects per given language. They can recognize the context of the conversation and answer any follow-up questions that the customers might have. They handle offensive language, multi-line questions, and can make the transfer to a real human agent if there is a need for that, but this is rarely the case because we are seeing it happen in less than 1.5% of all the conversations on our platform. Now, let me show you a very quick demo of a banking assistant built with Codewell AI so that you can see that conversational capabilities for yourself. So here's the demo. Our assistant chat on a human level. This means that I can type in something like, "Dude, I really need to send $300 to my bro Jack. He needs them ASAP." As a result, this banking assistant will first ask me to verify my account. He will ask for my phone number. After I give him my phone number, he will send the one-time password. And when I provide the OTP code back, he will verify my account successfully. Then he asks, we are sending $300 to Jack, right? Meaning that he successfully understood my complicated request, full of typos, written in jargon, and 4 different lines. That's the power of Codewell AI. Now, as you saw in the demo, with our assistants, people chat in the same manner they chat with their friends and family, so there's no learning curve involved, and because of this, they're equally great for both tech-savvy, but also non-technical users coming from different age groups. They're available around the clock and can serve unlimited number of people at the same time. This means no more waiting and no unnecessary transfers. And with Codewell AI, we help companies automate up to 80% of all digital interactions with their customers, reducing the cost, driving the sales up, while at the same time improving the overall customer satisfaction. And right now, our technology is being used in several industries, including telco, banking, healthcare, insurance, etc. Some of our biggest clients you will already see here on the slide. For example, for A1 Telecom Austria Group, we've built a digital assistant that automates the entire customer support department and can do everything his human colleagues do, and even more in some cases. This assistant helped them automate 73% of all interactions with their customers in just 4 months after the launch. This number is currently at 78%. But what is even more important is that 98.61% of all the conversations were successfully completed autonomously by the assistant. Now, going forward, we want to focus entirely on the banking sector. Why? Because currently the banks are feeling the pressure of numerous tech giants and fintech companies that are trying to poach their market. With 73% of senior bank representatives considering investment in digital customer experience solution a top priority, and a market size that's estimated to reach $7 billion by 2013, it is the right space for us to be. So our roadmap in the coming period focuses on creating a cookie cutter solution for this space and offering it on a pure SaaS model. In this way, we'll allow the banks to get a digital assistant in a matter of days that will provide a full conversational banking. And our sales strategy revolves around signing partnership with the top e-banking solution providers, but also fintech companies that are going big in this market. Some potential partnerships that we're considering, you can already see here on the slide. And we already have a second on board with the potential of 190 different banks at this moment. And we are competing against chatbot builders and chatbots focused on the financial sector. However, the high conversational capabilities and support for different languages and difficult languages also remain our strongest USPs. And we have the right team to deliver this. I've known my co-founder for the past 10 years. We sold our first startup to T-Mobile. Together with our team, we built some solutions that got featured on some of the best media portals around the world, but also the chatbot that won the Chatbot of the Year back in 2016, competing against Google, Slack, and Duolingo. So we'll know a thing or two about this market. And we're looking forward to raise $1.2 million at $10 million valuation. This will give us the needed focus to specialize in the banking sector and also build a seller sales force that will allow us to capture a bigger portion of the opportunity that's currently presented on the global market. Thank you very much for your attention. And now I'll take any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Move on to the Q&A. So anyone that has a question, just turn on your mic, please. Please, Horia.
I have a question. Actually, what languages are you supporting, and why do you think you can make it when all the others failed? Like I said, what is the secret ingredient?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's a really good question. So the key to our technology is that we don't have limitations on which languages we support. So, for example, we were capable to build digital systems with our technology that speak languages that have never been achieved and spoken by AI before. For example, we have instances in Macedonian as a language, which is really difficult, Cyrillic, and so on and so forth, Arabic, Georgian, and so on and so forth. So really difficult alphabets, difficult languages, and so on and so forth. We already exist in the market. So we have, as I said in the presentation, instances in different industries and different markets. So we already achieve, proven that we can achieve that high conversational capabilities. When it comes to what's the secret sauce to our technology is that We created the tech from scratch. I had a question previously in pre-finals regarding the same, considering the same topic. The secret to our technology is basically that we managed to create a proprietary AI solution, the module that's actually called context-aware recognition. And we built NLPs and NLUs for every new language that we include in the system. Now, combining these three modules, we are capable of achieving that high precision of over 95%. The other key to our technology is that the technology itself is modular in terms of behind the curtains. There are many, many different modules that we use to actually include and retrain in a way that when we support a new language, I would say not the same models work the best for every new language. So some models work better for English or Latin-based languages. Some models work better for Cyrillic-based languages and so on and so forth. So we do the fine-tuning when we add a new language in the system. In terms of the NLPs and NLU in general, we didn't build any new technology when it comes to building a better NLU or NLP than Google or stuff like that. The key source is, as I said, creating that context awareness recognition module and combining it with our proprietary NLP and NLU technologies. That way we achieve the 95% precision. Also, just to add, is the way how we organize the knowledge in the system that adds up to the precision. We have 4 layers of understanding. We call it causal AI consciousness. The domain specific, the domain specific, the process level, the domain specific level, general knowledge level, and then we have like the open knowledge level. That's like I would say a cognitive level more or less, and we only open that 4th level up when we have a lot of historical transactional data that are well labeled. Otherwise, we play around with those 3 levels of understanding.
Thanks. I think it cleared out many other questions. We have just a couple minutes for any other questions coming from you. Please, Dan.
Hi, I'm Dan here. And as a full disclosure for everybody, we are investors. Capminder is an investor into FinTech OS, which could be one of your partners, and in Druid AI, which is featured as a competitor for yourselves. But I would stay in the same area. I mean, we see that the chatbots and the conversational AI space is very crowded. I mean, there are at least 15 companies that are battling to be the top guys, the captains of the industry, if you want. So really, I'm interested to hear, besides the technical advantage that could be now, at this moment, it could be very valid. What do you see as your top 3 or 5 differentiators that will help you to actually win that battle or becoming the top 10, top 15 companies?
Thanks, Dan. Yes. And we end with that. So give an answer to that, Nino, please.
Dan, thank you for the question. It's a very good question. I would say at this point in time, our technologies are key differentiating factor. So that's obvious. Going forward, we don't see that we won't have any competitors. The problem with the chatbot space right now, it's really crowded, as you said. Many companies identified the potential in the conversational AI space. So many companies turn to create chatbots. We saw this whole chatbot revolution happening since 2016.
I agree. I was not talking about the chatbot companies, which are like thousands by now, almost thousands. So I'm talking about the conversational AI.
Yes, the problem is that you can't build most of the competitors that you have on the market. It's like, here's the platform and you build a digital system by yourself. And that's like one solution fits all, which is like, here's a kit, build your own car. What we do is actually we specialize and create specialized instances for these industries for particular clients. Going forward, why I would, aside from our technology advantage, I would say focusing primarily on one sector will help us catch more of the opportunity presented right now. I'm not saying we won't face any competitors that will have a close technology in a few years, but to get in front, we want to specialize so that we can scale faster in a way that's specialized in the banking sector, so we can scale and grab more of the potential that's currently presented on the market.
Thank you.
So I hope.
We hope so. If there's need for any other info, we get to that. We say game over to the pitch session, but game on to the decision making. So don't forget about the fact that you can get access to any of the information of the startups that got into Spotlight, not just the one that you saw tonight. Also, for that, drop us an email at team@howtoweb.co, and the fact that the fun is happening on Crowdcast. So if you're watching this from your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, just hit on the link to get here. Enjoy the chat conversations, speaking about all the subjects tonight. So now the investors step aside to draw their final conclusion. Bogdan is going with them. And we all sit back and enjoy the cookie that we've prepared for you, which is a panel. We've disclosed part of it at the beginning. So Andrei Bartosz is going to stick around, general partner at Credo Ventures, alongside with Sergiu Neguț, co-founder at FinTech OS, and Irina Obuștarova, co-founder and CEO at The Recursive. Thanks for accepting the invite. And we should all bear in mind the question that they have for the panel, which is not if, but where in Eastern Europe is the next UiPath. So Irina, Andrei, Sergiu, please take over for the next up until half an hour. Thank you.
Hi, I'm not shying away, but just I can't start my camera, so I will log out and log in.
Thank you.
Excuse
Thank
me
you.
for a minute.
No problem. Then
Thanks,
we
Sergiu.
can fill the gap.
Thanks for the notice. Irina, yeah, please take over before Sergiu logs back in. Thanks for accepting the invite.
Thank you for this kind intro, Alex. It's a pleasure actually to be here. And yes, this is the big question. Before the grand finale, I would just say I'm Irina, I'm co-founder of The Recursive, and this is the media that is reporting straight from the heart of the ecosystems here in Southeast Europe. So as such, we've been following the progress very passionately of all the companies that are now growing and scaling and becoming more and more prominent. And in fact, the question, where is going to be the next unicorn, has been discussed in social media, has been also asked to us, and we are actually looking forward to report about this news.
Yep.
As you mentioned, here with us today are some very prominent guests. They don't need much of introduction. I hope that Sergio
will shortly join, yeah.
Will shortly join.
Yeah, but we do have Andrei with us already, yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Andrei. Actually, my first question goes to you, so maybe we can slowly start also with the conversation.
Of course,
Andrei...
I will have Irina for myself, it seems.
Yes. So Andrei, Credo Venture has been one of the first investors at UiPath, back then already in 2015. And that was back then alongside with Early Bird, Digital East, and Seed Camp, right?
Yes.
So my question would be, do you recognize in UiPath back then in 2015 the unicorn and even the decacorn potential? What convinced you to invest in the first place?
Okay, that's a very colorful question, but I'll try to recall. So, did I recognize the unicorn or decacorn potential back then? Probably not. I think it is fair to say that when we invest, and it's the case for most VCs of our type, we always want to see a big potential. But in Central and Eastern Europe in 2015, to bet on a unicorn potential, that would be probably too bullish or too optimistic. So, looking back, when I looked at UiPath in early days, I think I just hope that it can be a company growing to 500, 600, 700 million in value, and that was my scenario A. It outgrew my ambition and my scenario A, just because it happened to be such an outlier. But needless to say, I'm happy. I'm not just happy as an investor in UiPath, but I'm happy as an investor who operates in Central and Eastern Europe, because it once and for all proved the point that, you know, a decacorn can really be born anywhere. Hi, Sergio. Welcome back.
Welcome, Sergio. Happy to have you here with us.
Good to see you. Obviously, my computer didn't want to do it, so I had to do it from my mobile, but you know.
You look great. No worries. So we were just talking about UiPath and them being maybe an outlier. And as Andre actually mentioned, yeah, innovation and unicorns can come from unexpected places. And in this sense, my next question would be again to Andre, because I wanted to follow up a bit on the UiPath trajectory. So there are many factors for the success of a startup. It's the team, it's the timing, the product, the market, and often also chance and luck. Now, if we look at UiPath trajectory, would you say that we can learn from their experience and replicate the model in Southeast Europe here? Or was it a pure outlier?
I really don't know the answer to the question, but you know, because I think yes, UiPath is an outlier. When somebody comes out and becomes suddenly coming from anywhere in the universe, the largest SaaS IPO, and so on. It's not that you expect everyone else to replicate precisely that level of success and so on. But I think the answer is slightly different. And I'm going to tell you one event from the history of FinTech OS. My partner and I, Theo Blidarush, were having the usual, beer discussions about the startup of the company some years ago. I think about 4 years ago. We have just started the company and so on. And UiPath made the announcement of not the first round, but the second round, which kind of qualified them as a large enough player. The valuation was still, by nowadays terms, nothing so spectacular, but it was spectacular because they were guys that have started from the same city with us. And they were guys that, have had, a very normal and nothing absolutely extraordinary business at that time. So it kind of not only gave us hope, but it gave us a validation that the ecosystem will be a lot more visible to investors. So I remember us, kind of having a very short chat and laughing at the fact that in our opinion back then, with us doing absolutely nothing, from one day to the next, our valuation was pushed up, our expectation at that moment, by 30%, by the simple fact that we were part of an ecosystem that has been validated.
You didn't have an answer, but actually that was a great answer. And now I will revert also to Andre. What is your opinion on the same question? Pure outlier, or there is something that we can learn and now replicate?
Look, I love Sergio's answer actually, and if we should try and replicate UiPath, no, I mean it's impossible to replicate, right? In a startup world or anywhere else, but we should get inspired, and I think probably the most important thing that the UiPath story brought to Romania and Southeastern Europe and Central and Eastern Europe as a whole is that it brought like evidence that it's possible, and it sort of brought or expanded the motivation and the belief, and I love that about the story. So that FinTech OS and many others, Payhawk announced a big round this morning, and you can see that the region is becoming truly vibrant, right?
Sure.
And I don't think it's only due to the UiPath story, but I think it's one of the reasons, one of the factors.
I think it was high time that this happens, and the UiPath story helped us very much in this regard. Sergio, so I remember reading an interview back then with Daniel Dines, where he said that starting from a smaller and undeveloped market like Romania can in fact be an advantage because founders start thinking about internationalization from a very early stage, basically from day one. And I can imagine that was also the case with FinTech OS. Would you agree with this statement? And how can we use this obviously disadvantage actually to our advantage?
I think frankly, we have to be, careful in measuring our advantages and disadvantages. And indeed, this is an advantage. You're coming from an underdeveloped market. So you know that from day one, that your domestic market is not going to be enough. So you have to look for any proof of internationalization that you can bring. Because there is always a question of what is the total addressable market that every investor will ask. And they want to see early proof that this is not something that is specific to a particular market, let alone to a market that is, kind of small, like any market we would have here in Central Eastern Europe. That being said, it is an advantage that you have that focus from the beginning. There is another advantage that you're in Europe, so you know from the beginning that your business would have to be valid in different law environment with different currencies, if that is the case. So you would think global from the very beginning, not only in terms of international, but you would not, you would not restrict it in any way. This comes with several complications. We should not also discount the fact that there are definitely some disadvantages if you're originating your business, in anywhere else, but like it's Silicon Valley, because you have like tier one, everything that starts in the valley is, at an advantage. Then everything that starts in the States, has better access to finance. Then everything that starts in major cities in Europe has and we are probably the next level, if I'm looking at a thing. But I think what UiPath's success has validated is that it doesn't matter that much. So actually, you can conquer the world irrespective from where you start. And there is this thing that, the American dream with UiPath in technology has become a true global dream, because it's not a message to Eastern Europe or to Bucharest people. I think it's a message for everyone that starts a business in an apartment in a city that is not a major financial center of the universe and is not a major startup center of the universe. And I think this gives us all hope, not only the guys from, Romania or Central Eastern Europe, but also, Southeast Asia, South America, everywhere.
Thank you again for the inspirational answer, Sergio. Andre, what do you think? Can we? Yes.
Listen, I actually kind of disagree with Danielle that it's an advantage to be in a smaller market. I don't think it brings pretty much any advantage to a startup being from a small market per se. And I think so. I have been investing in the region for now almost 15 years, and I think one of the dark sides of the region, in my view, has always been low ambition. So, where in America, almost every startup wants to conquer the world, in Central and Eastern Europe, quite a big number of startups just want to somehow survive or conquer the region or, conquer a country. Even in Startup Spotlight, we saw a couple of startups that are only focused on Romania or a part of CEE. So I don't see the advantage of the small market. That's my point. I think if you're a founder who has it in him or her, like Sergio or Daniel, it doesn't matter where you come from. That's the important bottom line. Whether you're starting a company in the US, Canada, UK, or Central and Eastern Europe, it doesn't matter. You can build an amazing company, but I don't see an advantage.
Thank you. Sergio, before that, you mentioned something that with the success stories that we've been having here in the region, your own valuation actually increased in time. And I remember that in your last Series B, you actually managed to raise quite an impressive round. In this sense, for those founders who are ambitious enough also to raise internationally, to be global entrepreneurs, and to have a realistic valuation of their business, what would be your tips? What are the bits and bolts of raising internationally at the level that FinTech OS is right now?
I don't know. First is to have expectations. Having realistic expectations may not help you get the best results. Maybe it's good to have some unrealistic expectations and look to maximize those results that you can get. Because I think if I'm looking at the case study here at Daniel's success, if he had realistic expectations, he would have stopped when he reached the $500 million valuation that Andrei has mentioned. So, and frankly, I think Theo and I, we've set aside a bottle of very good wine to drink when we reach the 10 million valuation. And we did that from the beginning, and we did not think we're going to drink it so early in the process. In fact, we did not, because we were so caught with the things. So I think we drank it when we thought we had reached something like an 80 million valuation, because we didn't have the time and the opportunity to meet face to face and so on. Second, I was very proud when we raised our 60 million Series B and thought this was a tremendous achievement. Yet, as Andrei said yesterday, or anyway, this week, Payhawk in Bulgaria raised an even larger Series B, and it's also from the region, and it's massive. Also, our was massive, even by European standards, for Series B, even by 2021 European standards. So I think there's something happening here in the region, and of course, it started and it got boosted massively by UiPath's success. But we have to plan in a way for a process that gets us to raise the money that we can raise in order to become global and to become relevant globally as early as possible. Because let's not forget, you don't raise money just as a kind of scorecard metric. You get to tick the box that yours was bigger than the others. You're raising money for a purpose, and that's about creating that global story of success that needs investment. And frankly, once you're in that race of globalization, of getting something that works in this market to work in that market, and getting bigger players to know about you, and getting all the analysts to understand what you're doing, and it's a massive endeavor. And you're there in a sort of battle for attention with players that have been launched in better developed markets, maybe 10 years earlier, that have had major commercial successes, and you have to use that money in order to catch up and beat them in the market, if that is the case, and reshape because at this level, let's be realistic, at this level we must be doing something that is unique, that is original. So reshape the way people think about the industry in a way that makes room for our uniqueness and for our value proposition, which I encourage everybody that thinks of a startup to do. I mean, you can't replicate something that has been done. You can't really just be another player slightly more efficient in the market. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a level of uniqueness that allows you to have a global impact.
And also, I think Sergiu touched something that's very important. So I believe that one of the biggest sort of uniqueness or differentiators of startups in general against sort of corporate established companies is their ability to move fast and break things and sort of be agile and sort of change very, very quickly. So, and that is something that Sergiu mentioned as the sort of shift and ever-changing expectations. So yeah, of course, when I invested in UiPath, I expected it hopefully to reach a $500 million valuation or value. But as it was growing, 2 years into the investment, I would have been deeply disappointed if we sold at $500 million. That was already, time when I was thinking about the billion or 2 billion, maybe 2.5 billion. But a year later, I would have been deeply disappointed about 2.5 billion, right? So it's this constant sort of, it's the sensitivity to the market signals and, just ever-changing ability to, evolve and be agile.
In this sense, because things are changing and also valuations are changing, we see more and more unicorns actually coming on the list. And does it actually mean something to be a unicorn today? Do we need like a new definition to mark such, achievement? A unicorn like 5 years ago would mean something else than maybe today. What do you think?
Definitely.
Which
No, I mean, definitely yes. So I would like to start with like reminding everybody that a unicorn is still a label, right? It's a label that has some meaning to it, but it doesn't give the full description, right? For example, there's a huge difference between a unicorn built with, $20 million of external investment and a unicorn built with, $1 billion of investment. So, it was invented as a term for a very rare thing, a private company valued at $1 billion or more. Today, there's a lot of companies like that. It's just a matter of time when it reaches 1,000. I think current number is close to 800. So we're going to reach 1,000 very soon. That's not, in my head, it's not a unicorn anymore because it's not as rare, but it still represents something.
What about you, Sergio? Do you have a bottle which is named unicorn?
No, I don't have, but I do have a plan of how to get there.
I'll bring you one.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I think
yeah.
I fully agree with Andre. It's I was looking at our space in the let's say in the fintech space. There were 43 new unicorns emerging in Q3 of 2021, and this is massive. So it's once again. It's not so rare anymore, but the beauty of it not being so rare is that you can more realistically plan for it as a milestone or plan for it as something along the journey. And it's not so unconceivable to have it, brought to ground and in your stable. So the thing that you have something that looks like a horse and has a bit of something here makes you actually think and plan.
So before we wrap up, and while the voting is still ongoing, I'm gonna, ask you also the hard question: where is the next unicorn going to be? Sergio, is it going to be FinTech OS, or Andre? Do you have other bets?
Now they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and I think frankly, it's timing is just just putting a bar somewhere that is artificially. I think we have our chances. It's not about being the next, or it's not about, but I think we have our chances to build a global organization that will not stop at that level of valuation. So I think this is the plan that we are making. Whether we are the next or the one after or the one even further after, I don't know. Whether we will be a unicorn, that I don't know either, but definitely we are working to create a global company. So
it's very probable. Okay.
It might happen.
Okay, Andre, what's your take on the question?
So, I mean, truth is, I currently see probably like a dozen companies in the region that could become a unicorn next year, maybe even slightly more than that. And I think that's something that's going to happen unless the market changes dramatically, which is a possibility as well. But I think this is going to happen. If we're going to see a decacorn anytime soon, that's the big question in my head. I think we will. It's just a matter of time. And where it's going to be, nobody knows. The beauty of it is that it can be anywhere. And that's by the way, something that the whole pandemic accented even more. Amazing companies can be born anywhere in the world, including Central and Eastern Europe, and with all other advantages that the region has, I believe they will, and I'm going to be there to watch.
I think we have provided a very, very good question to a very good answer to the question that has been set for the discussion. Where is going to be the next UiPath? Well, it could be anywhere. So let's use this kind of motivation, this kind of energy that we have had in this discussion. Thank you for joining us today. Also thank you, HowToWeb, for inviting us. And I'm giving the word to you, Alex, now.
Yeah, gosh. So we invited the audience to sit back and relax, but you reshuffled all that we knew about startups and unicorns and decacorns, what is actually a rare company. But yeah, the answer is that it can be anywhere. So we should look around. Thanks for your support so far. Thanks for sparking a discussion. Thanks for engaging with Irina, Andrei, Sergiu. And should you stick around as well, you're much invited to find out who's going to be the one that gets the investment deal. But cherry on top, we also have a couple of words to pick from some of our Spotlight partners, and this consists in an afterword. So for this, we bring in once more from Google for Startups, Dan Orosz, from KPMG, René Schob, from MasterCard, Laura Ștefan, and from BRD Group Societe Generale, Horia Velicu. And I invite you to take 1 minute or so to state your 2 cents on the tech and startup scene in the region, definitely touching upon Romania as well. I would begin with you, Dan, if you can just turn on your mic. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Alex. So congratulations to the finalists and to all 42 startups from the program.
Yeah,
and
the decision-making is tough, so it's still going on.
Exactly. And I want to say, like, great job, Spotlight team. I mean, it's exciting to see the quality of the competition and pitches increase year by year, which is great and a proof that we're going in the right direction. Our mission at Google for Startups is to support founders at each stage of their journey, from starting out to scaling globally. So we're honored to be your partners and to contribute to the growth of the ecosystem. So thank you very much and best of luck to the finalists.
Definitely, thanks a bunch. Let's do the popcorn and pass the baton to René.
Thanks a lot, Alex, and your team, Bogdan. It was great being a partner again, not for the first time. Impressed about all the startups who participated. I think we are getting better with all the cohorts every year and year. Also happy to listen to the panelists before about unicorns, decacorns, and so on. I know these are the buzzwords, but I think Sergio said something very interesting. It's for him also not necessarily the unicorn title which may rule the most, but for sure going globally. And I think for startups in this region and for the economies in our region, it's not about how many unicorns and decacorns we are actually making. It's about how many sustainable enterprises we create, which are creating jobs and create value for our region and also pride, of course. And I think Spotlight is also helping to bring pride across Central Eastern Europe with all these fascinating and great ideas. And we are extremely happy that KPMG can always be of help for you guys and the Spotlight team.
We're just amplifying what happens in the region, so we're also proud to have you as partners. In the spirit of camaraderie, let's pass on to Laura Stefan from MasterCard. Laura, may you add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the founders and really all the people that I've seen teaching in this past few weeks. Congrats to the hard work that they obviously put in their companies and in their pitches as well. But most of it, I personally enjoyed the passion that I've heard in all of their speeches. So basically, it's something to learn from. May we all find the same passion in what we do at work. So congrats to everyone, and
Definitely.
I don't know. Let's see the winner.
We'll soon see that, and we owe to them everything to showing us the grit, the ownership, the drive that they have in building the solutions to solve those problems. Horia, can you also add something on behalf of yourself and on BRD Group Societe Generale as well?
Yeah, thank you. It has been a really, really great privilege to be in this event. I appreciated every moment of it. I remember this How to Web was my first innovation event in this new, let's say, job role. It's growing better and better. I'm happy that we found some interesting fintech potential partners. I already have some contacts for the future, and my message is don't hesitate to contact me even after the event and try to work together. So congratulations again, and best of luck.
Definitely, Spotlight doesn't stop here. Spotlight Pitch Day, though, it will stop here. We have plenty work to do for the startups and with the community around how to have Spotlight. Oh, gosh, time does fly. So we're speeding up towards the end of Spotlight Pitch Day. But don't forget about the fact that you can get access to the data of the companies that pitched tonight, but not just, because alongside with them, we had up to 42 companies, the most promising tech startups from Eastern Europe. Just drop us an email at team@howtoweb.co and we'll provide you with that. And the fact that the Crowdcast experience is the full experience that you can have. So if you're still watching this on your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and any other social media that our colleagues are handling, just hit the link to get into Crowdcast, because we're approaching the end of Pitch Day. And let me tell you a bit about the benefits that the teams that join Spotlight and the ones that reach the final stage have at hand. So all the startups that join Spotlight will get access to F-Success's Alpha card, which will unlock discounts worth of €1 million. Yet again, BRD Group Societe Generale, alongside with MasterCard, will provide to all the startups that join Spotlight a current account package, Entrepreneur Optimist Plus, with the MasterCard Business Debit Account. And the top 3 ranked after this pitch day will get from KPMG a service pack worth of €15,000 for accounting, payroll, legal services. Thank you all for that. So there's a lot of benefits that are gonna get to your inboxes soon after. But only one will be offered, the investment deal worth of €350,000. Let's find out who grabs it. And for this, I'm going to be joined by Bogdan again, as I told you. We met at the beginning, we'll meet again at the end. So Bogdan, I know that was a tough call to take, but before we dive into who gets the investment deal, could you please tell us how tight the decision making was and who are the runner-ups before we announce the winner of the investment deal?
Yeah, so as every year, my colleagues ask me after the jury session at the end of Spotlight, Bogdan, are you okay? Is everything okay? Are we still going forward? Etc., etc. But this is, when you make sausages, it's better not to see how they are made. Anyway, we've had a very fun session, and I want to say a big thanks to our jury and to the investors for the work that they put together and for their trust as well, which means a lot to us. First and foremost, I want to start by reading the runner-ups. So, third place from Romania.
Some drums and rolls.
Repsmate.
Repsmate, congrats to Repsmate. kudos to you and to your team. I see them on their screens enjoying that. You saw that the fact that there are some benefits also to the runner-ups, apart from the fact that you're part of a large community, as very often was mentioned tonight.
Indeed.
Yet another name?
Yeah, so second place from Macedonia, Coldwell.
Congrats to Coldwell as well. Thanks, Bordan, and let us put in some more drama. So before we actually find out who takes the investment deal and we can all enjoy and kudos and champion for that, we want to thank again to the program partners, which are our partners in crime, because they helped us to actually deliver such a program for the entire community of founders, mentors, partners, investors, and so on and so forth. So big thanks for the ones that joined Spotlight, because it was in partnership with Google for Startups, KPMG, MasterCard, BRD Group Société Générale, and also with the support of IMAG, Verifone, Fitbit, Orange, Bearing Point, Microsoft, and then Credo Ventures, and the investment partners that also had skin in the game. Quite a few, I would say. So Tech Angels, Seedblink, Crowchano, Gapminder, RockX, Simple Capital, Transylvania Angels Network. And the investment deal now, we will find out that lands to more drums and rolls, everyone.
The investment deal lands to Alpha AR from Estonia.
All right. Yeah, you can all clap. We all see now Madis on screen. And Madis, I would take your reaction on that. So if you can just say a few words before we jump into the final of the Spotlight final.
Congrats, Madis.
Congrats.
Oh, wow,
How was it
thanks.
for you?
Really speechless. We're super happy I'm here with my colleagues, so we are a bit speechless, but thanks a lot for the first place. So I mean, everything came so quickly, so we are a bit speechless at the moment. So
Definitely. It's the beginning of a long discussion now that has attached a term sheet of 350,000 euro. So the discussion will definitely carry on. Kudos again to Madis. We've promised a great deal for all of you for Spotlight Pitch Day. We hope that we stood up to that promise. We thank you all, namely the founders that applied for Spotlight, and there were a couple of hundreds of them, to ones that joined, to ones that made it up to the final stage, to the partners that you all heard about, to the mentors, also more than 100 mentors that helped us to actually provide those more than 1,500 hours of live interaction during the past 2 months. To the guests, and we all enjoyed the earlier panel, to the investors, not just the ones that put the money, but definitely for the ones that put their skin in the game for the investment deal at the end of Spotlight. And to the entire How to Web team, as you all mentioned, may you please join us on stage. I see Alexandra, I see Monica, I see Georgiana, and all the others, because we have also an announcement to make. The fact that, come on. Alrighty.
Very well organized.
Leave the laptops. And we'll end this just again thanking you for helping us to provide this great deal of a program for the entire region. And in one word, acquire or not, one more thing we have to say before we say goodbye, and that is that we see you next year.
We're actually gonna see you next year.
All right, so that was all. We'll follow up with every one of you. Thanks everyone for joining. If you're still watching this outside of Crowdcast, you can get in there because there are a lot of conversations happening on the chat. Thanks again to all the partners and everyone that helped us to provide such an experience for the technology and innovation scene in Eastern Europe. See you soon. Like in a theater.